Hello, everyone, and welcome to the CISN Football Pregame Show, Week 8 edition here, brought to you by Iowa Corn. I am your host, Blake Walker. We got a great week on tap for you, but first, we're going to take a look at the highlights from last week's 3 games here on the Central Iowa Sports Network. West Des Moines Valley taking on Des Moines Lincoln. Here early in the first quarter, Michael Provenzo rolls out to his left and walks into the end zone. Touchdown, Valley taking the early lead. This whole game was all Valley. The Tigers really no trouble here on Friday night. Here's a punt that is blocked, picked up by Gage Olson. The punt was blocked by Cole Sonnenberg. Big touchdown for Valley. Nice special teams touchdown. Always good when you can grab a couple of those. Valley is feeling it early in the first quarter. Moved to the second, 27-0. Provenza checks down to Aiden Price, and Price races to the end zone. Great block downfield. Valley runs it up and wins it 54-0. They moved to 4-3 on the season with a win over Des Moines Lincoln. Big game at Ankeny Stadium. Waukee Northwest taking on Ankeny Centennial. A little bit later in the first quarter, how about the throw by Sam Johnson? The PI is called inside the 5-yard line. Centennial doesn't believe it, but it sets up a big play for the Wolves. Brady Grisham runs into the end zone. Touchdown Wolves. They take an early 7-0 lead over the Jaguars on the road, and the Wolves would continue to run it. Sam Johnson, 41-yard pass all the way downfield to Jackson Adams. Nice catch and grab. Great throw by Sam Johnson, who doesn't throw the ball a ton. And then at the beginning of the second quarter, they flip sides. Touchdown run up the middle by Sam Johnson. QB sneak. Northwest is up 14-0 over the Jags, and off to a hot start, but Centennial would come back. This is a double pass. Trenton Smith to Severson, downfield to Porter, makes a heck of a juke move. Can't quite get to the end zone, but a great play. It made number 1 on our top 5 list. This drive would then be finished off with an Easton Miller grab and go touchdown run off the right side. 14-7, Northwest leads over Centennial. And later in the ball game, with 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, Centennial down 14-7. Gotta go for it deep in your own territory on 4th and 12. And it's dropped. Could not be caught up to Chase Shuddy. One-handed grab, not going to work. Northwest would get the ball back. And once again, Brady Grisham up the middle would score it. Touchdown, Waukee Northwest. Centennial would score again, but it was too little too late. Waukee Northwest upsets Ankeny Centennial on the road, 20-14. Marshalltown taking on Roosevelt at Drake Stadium. Marshalltown trying to take down Roosevelt on their homecoming. Dalen Houston off the left side dives for the end zone. Superman dive by number 15. It was one of 4 touchdowns this evening by Dalen Houston. He scores, puts them up 8-0 after the 2-point conversion. Later in the first, Dominic Wade over the middle, caught by Peter Ponthedeth. And Ponthedeth works his way to the middle of the field, almost stays up, and falls down just before getting outside of the end zone. Wade would go right back to Ponthedeth. Beautiful throw, beautiful catch on the right corner. Touchdown Roosevelt. They would miss the 2-point conversion attempt, or they missed the field goal attempt to try to get it within 1. Later, a fumble by Marshalltown, recovered by Roman Whitfield. Big number 56 at the bottom of the pile. Comes up with it. Huge play by the defense. Max Masucci would then take in a run from just outside the 10, work through a couple defenders and score. Roosevelt would take back the lead over the Bobcats in a tightly contested back and forth game. Later, Dominic Wade up 12-8. Wade fakes the handoff, rolls to his right, and decides to keep it and swings the ball over the top of his head, almost a reverse dunk style to get into the end zone. Heads up play by number 16, 28 lead. Later, Dalen Houston rolls to his left. He'll take a hard shot here at the end. Does score. He was down on the field. He would go back to the sideline for concussion protocol. They deemed him safe to play. 2015. Later, biggest play of the game here. Houston rolls out, and he's brought down from behind by Jaquan Bradley. Ball comes out, but the referee says that the ball was in a throwing motion, and the fumble does not count. Take a look again on the replay. Houston rolls, and Bradley hits that right arm, but the official says that it did not swing out, therefore it's not a fumble. Houston would then finish it off with a touchdown, and Marshalltown would take the lead 22-20 over Roosevelt. Later, Dominic Wade, 11:50 to go in the fourth quarter. Wade on 4th and 7, over the middle. Zion Spellman makes a couple guys miss and walks into the end zone. Roosevelt takes back the lead 28-23. The Rough Riders trying to finish, or 26-23, trying to finish this one out. Dalen Houston to Tate Rang, up the middle, screenplay, bouncing off defenders, gets it with inside the 5, and it sets Marshalltown up as Houston, for the 4th time, runs it into the end zone thanks to help from his lineman. 26-30, Marshalltown takes back the lead. But it's all up to the Roosevelt Rough Riders. 2:17 on 3rd and 16, driving downfield. Wade rolls to his right, eyes downfield, fires a long pass, and it's picked off. Raiden Weatherly seals the ball game, and an incredible ball game it was. Marshalltown defeats Roosevelt 30-26. And those are our highlights from our 3 games last week here on the Central Iowa Sports Network. Now it is time to take a look at the RPI coming into Week 8, brought to you by the Iowa High School Athletic Association. Take a look at the RPI for this week. Dowling, number 1 in the polls. The Maroons continue to roll and look to stay number 1 as we head toward the postseason. Southeast Polk jumps to number 2. They jump over Ankeny in 3rd despite the head-to-head loss. Pleasant Valley drops to 4 despite being undefeated. Cedar Rapids Kennedy in 5th after the big win over Davenport West. Cedar Rapids Prairie to 6th after their loss to Southeast Polk. The big jump, Waukee Northwest, all the way up to 7th. They are in front of Centennial, who they beat. Centennial then in front of Cedar Falls, who they beat. Davenport West drops to 10th after their 44-0 loss to Cedar Rapids Kennedy. Johnston in 11th, Valley in 12th, Urbandale 13th, despite having the head-to-head win over Valley. Ames drops to 14th with the loss to Dowling Catholic. Sioux City East is 15th, and Iowa City High is the last team looking in after the loss to Pleasant Valley in 16th. Your first 4 out, Linmar 17, Dubuque Senior 18, Waukee 19th, and Iowa City West in 20th. As the race for the playoffs continues, top 16 make it, and the wins matter greatly. And also who you've beat should be interesting to see how the RPI shakes up in Week 9. That will do it for the beginning portion of our show. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back for coach interviews and much, much more. You're watching the CISN Football Pregame Show, brought to you by Iowa Corn.
We all love a good win, however small or ordinary. Losing track of time, finding yourself with a few extra dollars in your pocket, soaking up the perfect Iowa day. These are the everyday delights and small victories that make us smile. These are the moments that connect us all as Iowans. And these are the moments that, more often than not, start with Iowa's farm families and the corn they're growing. Because when corn grows Iowa, Iowans win.
Free Godfather's Pizza begins with the download. Order through my new online ordering app and start earning free pizza and sides. It's easy. Download the Godfather's Pizza online ordering app today. Do it.
Hi, this is Chris from Fireplace Superstore, and you've probably noticed there's shortages on most everything in the market today. Well, Heat and Glow has helped us out this year, and they are focusing their energy on their gas fireplace inserts. So if you've got a drafty old wood-burning fireplace and you want to get it retrofitted into a beautiful, high-efficient gas fireplace, come see us. We will have product to sell you.
Heat and Glow gas fireplace insert from Fireplace Superstore, 109th and Douglas in Urbandale, just west of Homeacres.
For 75 years, Holt service trucks have hit the streets of central Iowa to help customers in need. It might be for plumbing, heating, cooling, a water heater, or the usual repairs and maintenance. We've done that with quality work from quality employees who bring passion and personality to the job. That's the Holt difference. It gives me great pride to see how our company has grown from the seeds of success my grandfather planted in 1947. That's why more and more central Iowans are saying, let Holt handle that.
I'm off to college. Oh, rats!
Hi, Joe the car guy with a reminder. Before you send your kids off to school, set up an appointment with Westside Auto. We check everything from tires to belts, fluids, hoses, wipers, and lights. 44 inspection points to help prevent that oh rats moment for your students. Call us today to set up your appointment. We'll have your kids off to school saying,
For the best, head west.
Westside Auto.
Not all used vehicles are created equal.
DeArmond certified used vehicles have a big advantage.
What sets us apart is that all used vehicles receive a 175-point inspection.
Carfax report, 2 oil changes, collision deductible coverage, and wheel, dent, and windshield repair.
Also, all DeArmond certified come with 2 warranties. A 1-year 12,000-mile bumper-to-bumper and a 2-year 100,000-mile powertrain. DeArmond Ford Indianola, DeArmond Automotive Knoxville, DeArmondAuto.com.
Do you know what the best part about being a dog is? You can hear disaster before it even happens. You know what they say about disaster? Sometimes it can inspire a symphony. An honest day's work deserves an honest day's treat.
No extra charge.
And that is why we choose Honest Wrenches. No extra charge. And it's how service should be.
We are
so much more
than an energy company.
We are connectors,
community protectors,
and clean energy leaders.
We are
job creators,
friends and neighbors,
stewards of your dollars and savings.
Yes, we
are so much more.
We are the energy
behind your everyday.
And we are
obsessively,
relentlessly
at your service.
Ever have one of those awkward moments when a business disappointed you? You got ripped off? Didn't get what you expected? The Better Business Bureau can help you avoid these uncomfortable situations. BBB accredited businesses are honest, ethical, and reviewed annually by the BBB. Don't experience another awkward moment with a bad business. Trust the ones that operate with integrity. Look for the BBB seal. It's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
Welcome back to the CIML Football Pregame Show, Week 8 edition, brought to you by Iowa Corn. I'm your host, Blake Walker. It's time to talk to some coaches of our big games of the week this week. We had a couple of our staff members sit down with multiple coaches. We'll go right to those interviews right now.
Back here on the Pregame Show, Paul Yeager with Waukee Northwest head coach Corey Capatich. Coach, it's like your regular play-by-play guy now. What's this whole going to the same place 2 weeks in a row? Have you ever done that before, other than a home game?
I think we may have done it last year. Our first 2 games were at Valley Stadium. So last year we went to Valley Stadium week 1 and week 2. So
is there anything, coaches are routine people. Are you one of them that's routine?
Yeah, to an extent. I think routine's good. But it's as far as, its impact on the game. I'm not sure if it really has any impact on the game, but it's good. It's familiar. We've done it. So I suppose that's a good thing.
It worked last week for a win, though.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Why the win last week? What do you think stood out on why you were able to come away with the W?
Well, I think the things we talked about before the game, we wanted to be physical and be able to run the ball and limit turnovers. So I think all those things allowed us to come away with the win.
We talked earlier in this week, we talked like last week, running the football. I knew Chisholm was a great running back. He's a great running back. What makes him so good? I've seen him in person. You see him in person. Tell us again, new audience, why you think he's so tough to bring down.
Well, just the way he runs. He's physical. He runs hard. He doesn't go down easily. He's got good balance. He's got pretty good vision. So I think all those things make him a good back. But I mean, the most important thing is he's just physical. He's hard to bring down.
Quarterback's not too hard to bring him down too.
Yeah, he's just different type of runner. He's more elusive. He's quick. But yeah, getting him involved in the run game is always a good thing for us as well.
You also have a couple of linemen that help too.
Yeah, Cale Winter, he obviously had a big game on both sides of the ball. He had 4 sacks on defense and kind of anchors our offensive line. And overall, our offensive line, is I think starting to come together and make a lot of progress throughout the season.
Adjustment-wise on offense, how did you feel in-game in the way the game speed was happening and you could adjust to what Centennial was doing to you?
Well, I mean, all games kind of take on their own challenges. And obviously, we got the lead up 14-0. Would have liked to have been up a little bit more at half. We had some opportunities and kind of missed on those opportunities. And second half just kind of really got bogged down and became a defensive battle for both teams. And just, then it became about, work on the clock and trying to give them as few opportunities as possible to come back.
Your defense did answer a big challenge in, I think, third and fourth quarter drives. You sent a whole lot of 3 and outs. What goes well when you're 3 and out?
One is being successful on first down, getting them behind the chains. That's always important. And then obviously, it comes down to getting off the field on third and fourth downs. It's something we talked about a lot last week, is really emphasizing, when we have an opportunity to get off the field on third down, we need to do that at a pretty high success rate.
Lamb was a guy we had talked about in the pregame show, not with you. Was he quiet that we just didn't notice, or was he on a different assignment, or was that a game plan that looked like Centennial was trying to neutralize him?
No, I don't think it was any. I don't think he was quiet. I don't think it was a game plan thing. He still. I looked at the stats. He still was either our leading tackler or tied for our leading tackler. So it was just more spread out last week. And again, our defensive line played really well. So I think that had a big impact on it as well. They made a lot of plays up front.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what else stood out. Defensive line.
Yeah.
It sure looked good to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they played well, and they were after the quarterback all night long, and were able to control the line of scrimmage.
When you have a team that you think they're going to throw the football, then they really struggle to run the ball. Why do you think Centennial? Why were you able to keep them in such single digits in that first half?
Well, first of all, they're a really good team. Sometimes, obviously, kind of the way that the game plays out, but they're a really good team. And again, I think it came down to, us just being pretty physical up front and able to kind of control the line of scrimmage.
Tonight, you have a team that, no secret, they throw the ball. They're trying to run the ball more. What stands out to you on tape?
Just the talent. So I think they're probably maybe the most talented team in the state. They've got multiple Division I guys. So neutralizing that, just the speed, the athleticism will be a big challenge for us on both sides of the ball. And, when you take that talent and then they're very well coached, that's a tough combination. So, they'll present a lot of challenges for us on Friday night.
I'm not sure anybody's played as many tough quarterbacks as you have this year. You think of Provenza at Valley. You think of Dowling, Southeast Polk tonight. What can you say about the play of these teams? there's you've had to scheme for some really tough guys this year. Has that been fun?
I don't know if fun's the right word. It's been a challenge. Yeah. I think I might have told you this last week, but I think 8 out of the 9 teams we play will all have been ranked at the time we played them. So, last year we had the toughest, and when the season was done, we had the toughest ranked schedule in the state. I assume it's going to be the same thing this year. So it's a challenge. We play great players week in and week out. The big thing is you try to stay healthy, and then you hope you're playing your best football at the end of the year, and hope that these experiences make you a better team.
Your offense versus the Ankeny defense. What do you see as keys?
Well, first and foremost, we can't have turnovers. We got to take care of the ball. And I think it's going to be important for us to run the ball on Friday night. I think if we can do those two things, we'll put ourselves in a good position to make some plays and have some success.
And take the crown of Ankeny Stadium wins or something, right? That's the unofficial game title.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
All right. That's head coach Corey Capatich of the Waukee Northwest Wolves. Appreciate it, Coach. Thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you.
Back on the pregame show after this here on CISN.
All right, head coach Rick Nelson, the pregame show here. Coach, senior night. This is a group of seniors that have been through a lot with this program. They remember a state championship. They remember the hard work. What is it about this senior group? It's like always a senior night, but what goes through your mind on senior night with a group like this?
I think with every coach, you hate to see them go. You say, hey, come back anytime you want, but some come back, and then some you just don't ever see. So the relationships you build kind of start to fade away a little bit. You still have memories, and you hope that you gave them some memories along the way. But I'm proud of these guys. They're probably I'm guessing, got to be close to one of the winningest classes from sophomore to junior to senior year that have been in Ankeny schools. I think they got to be in the top 3 of all time. So.
And the way they got there was kind of this room.
Yeah, I believe that. I believe in the weight room. I think a lot of games are already won in December and February, and so we preach it. And we have some strong kids. We have some kids that, need to eat more Fruity Pebbles.
A little more protein in and around. Yeah, the Fruity Pebbles are good for sugar. This group, you have a senior that's only been with you for 2 years, though. But JJ easily fit in, took a leadership role. Who else has led, in your mind, this group?
I'd say Drew Monsavius, another young man that transferred from Centennial. Joe Kingston has been just a solid young man his whole time. And then really Jamison Patton when he came over. He's a tremendous player, great young man. So I'd say really our captains have done a really nice job.
Tonight, Northwest playing for a better playoff seed. They want to beat you. They want to have the Ankeny sweep of town. How do you prevent that?
They're a new program. I think they've really made a big jump from the film I saw last year to then the film we've watched this year. They have a really good running back. Their quarterback is fast. He kind of reminds me of the kid from Valley. Mm-hmm. So that's a concern, that their running back's a pretty good sized kid, probably 200 pounds, runs hard. Defensively, they've changed some things. They come after you a little bit more than they did. They came after. We put a lot of stock in the Dowling, Valley, Southeast Polk game. They're similar to what we do on offense, so we put a lot of stock into that. And they came after those three schools pretty good. So I think that's what they'll do to us tonight.
And you just named programs, yes, similar makeups quarterback-wise that you think can handle pressure like that. So does the onus go on O-line, running backs to pick up some heat?
It goes to the O-line. The running back, he'll be involved in some of our protections. Sometimes we free release him. But it's mostly the offensive line. And then JJ, just knowing who we can't block if they'd happen to bring 6 or 7, depending on our protection scheme. Knowing, hey, okay, this is my hot guy. But he's pretty good about getting the ball out. Maybe the first week or 2, he didn't get it out as quick as we'd like, but he's been awesome the last 6 games, 7 games.
It's similar to last year. Kind of started a little slower, and was it an acclimation back to timing with guys? Because 7-on-7 is different than full-on 11-11.
I think it's just us on offense doing too much. The best game we've played, we only ran the ball to the left, and we had 3 running plays, and we had 4 pass plays, and that was Southeast Polk. So I think we had too much. In fact, last night we met as coaches, and we took some stuff out. Our kids can do it. It's just you only have so many plays. I mean, right now we're only getting, because teams are running the ball, trying to keep it out of our hands, we're maybe getting 45 to 55 plays a game. So, do we want to waste reps on a play? Oh, this looks good. And you do it as coaches. Every coach in America does. I'm sure they do it in the NFL. They do it in college. They do it in high. And so the same thing. When we played Dowling, we had so much stuff we couldn't call. It was bad by us as coaches. And so we're trying not to do that.
Well, when you get into week 8, you are who you are, right? I mean, you know who your identity is. So, yeah, maybe that excessive, those other 10 plays, maybe you'll pull them back in November.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we have a lot of offense, but we'll probably call, I bet not even half what's on the call sheet.
Defensively, you mentioned the running back. Chisholm, 33 carries last week, 32 the week before. I mean, he's a workhorse. Johnson runs the ball well. So a 1-2 threat on a defense, how do you kind of prevent big stops like that?
We and it has to do with who we're tackling, but we haven't tackled extremely well. We had people in places against Valley. I thought our kids tackled better against North because I thought their running back was pretty good. He just couldn't get started. So our biggest thing is just being able to tackle, to bring your feet, not reach with your hands. And if we'll tackle, tonight, I think we'll be fine. I mean, but we're going to have to tackle.
It's down to the fundamentals.
Yeah, always is.
And keeping the ball away from the other team. Keeping the turnovers. Let's see. What else I missed all the 3 checkpoints. All right, Coach, appreciate it. Have fun tonight. Enjoy.
All right, thank you.
That's Rick Nelson. Our pregame show continues after this here on CISM.
Once again, we want to thank all the coaches for their time to sit down and chat with us, and we wish them the best of luck this evening in their big games. We're going to take another break, and we'll come back to wrap everything up. You are watching the CISN Football Pregame Show, brought to you by Iowa Corn.
We all love a good win, however small or ordinary. Losing track of time, finding yourself with a few extra dollars in your pocket, soaking up the perfect Iowa day. These are the everyday delights and small victories that make us smile. These are the moments that connect us all as Iowans. And these are the moments that, more often than not, start with Iowa's farm families and the corn they're growing. Because when corn grows Iowa, Iowans win.
Not all used vehicles are created equal.
DeArmond certified used vehicles have a big advantage.
What sets us apart is that all used vehicles receive a 175-point inspection.
Carfax report, 2 oil changes, collision deductible coverage, and wheel dent and windshield repair.
Also, all DeArmond certified come with 2 warranties. A 1-year 12,000-mile bumper-to-bumper and a 2-year 100,000-mile powertrain. DeArmond Ford Indianola, DeArmond Automotive Knoxville, DeArmondAuto.com.
Do you know what the best part about being a dog is? You can hear disaster before it even happens. You know what they say about disaster? Sometimes it can inspire a symphony. An honest day's work deserves an honest day's treat.
No extra charge.
And that is why we choose Honest Wrenches. No extra charge, and it's how service should be.
We are so much more
than an energy company.
We are connectors,
community protectors,
and clean energy leaders.
We are
job creators,
friends and neighbors,
stewards of your dollars and savings.
Yes, we
are so much more.
We are the energy
behind your everyday,
and we are
obsessively,
relentlessly
at your service.
Ever have one of those awkward moments when a business disappointed you? You got ripped off? Didn't get what you expected? The Better Business Bureau can help you avoid these uncomfortable situations. BBB accredited businesses are honest, ethical, and reviewed annually by the BBB. Don't experience another awkward moment with a bad business. Trust the ones that operate with integrity. Look for the BBB seal. It's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
Free Godfather's Pizza begins with the download. Order through my new online ordering app and start earning free pizza and sides. It's easy. Download the Godfather's Pizza online ordering app today. Do it.
Welcome back to the CISN Football Pregame Show, Week 8 edition, brought to you by Iowa Corn. I'm your host, Blake Walker. Before we send you off to the big game this evening, let's take a look at some of the other games that are going on across the state tonight in Iowa high school football. Ankeny taking on Waukee Northwest here on the Central Iowa Sports Network. Big game for the Hawks. Waukee Northwest coming off the upset against Ankeny Centennial. Can they continue their upset ways as they make a push toward the playoffs? The Hawks have started slow in a couple games this year. Should be a very interesting game over at Ankeny Stadium. The classic Dowling Valley rivalry. Valley not quite what they've been in recent years past, but it's always a tough matchup when these two teams face off against each other. Technically a home game for both these two teams. We'll see what Coach Wilson and Coach Swenson have up their sleeves as the rivalry continues in this historic game. And then a sneaky good game at Waukee High School. Waukee taking on Urbandale. The Warriors are in 19th in the RPI. They're going to have to win out pretty much to get in, but it all starts tonight against a really good Jayhawk squad that is currently ranked in the RPI at 13th. Waukee and Urbandale. Great game coming up here on the Central Iowa Sports Network. A couple other games to keep your eye on tonight. Cedar Rapids Kennedy coming off their big win against Davenport West. They will host a heavy and hard-hitting defense against Johnston with a really good quarterback as well. Ankeny Centennial and Southeast Polk. Boy, that could cause chaos if Centennial causes a loss to Southeast Polk this week. The Rams will look to take down Centennial at Southeast Polk High School. And then another big game in terms of the RPI, Iowa City High, who's currently the last one in, takes on Davenport West, who currently sits 10th in the RPI. That will wrap it up for us here on the CISN Football Pregame Show, Week 8 edition, brought to you by Iowa Corn. We hope everyone enjoyed tonight's pregame show, and we hope everyone enjoys your Football Friday. Once again, thanks to all the coaches for chatting with us, and thanks for watching us all evening long. Enjoy the big game, everyone.
We've turned the page to week 8, which means the temperature is going in the opposite direction of our week number. 45 degrees right now in Ankeny as we get ready for another top 10 matchup here at Ankeny Stadium. It's the Waukee Northwest Wolves and the Ankeny Hawks tonight from Ankeny Stadium. Hello, everybody. I'm Paul Yeager along with Tim Halbert. Dallin Christensen will be with us in a couple of minutes. Tim, tonight we see the Wolves again. The Pack was hungry. They took care of the Jaguars. They did it by running the football. Were you at all surprised how good at Northwest was at running the ball?
I was. We know that the Centennial defense is a very stout defense, and the fact that their offensive line and their defensive line came up to play, they dominated line of scrimmage. That whole first quarter, it was like 2 possessions. It was over. Grisham came out, ran the ball 22 times in the first half, controlled the clock, and did a great job.
For the Ankeny Hawks, they come off a 72-0 win last week at Des Moines North, a game where a lot of guys got to play. It was also an opportunity for some guys to get healthy.
Yes, when you have a lead like that, your stars can sit a little bit and you get some experience in there with some of your backup players, but then your stars can rest and not take a full 4 quarters of football playing.
2 weeks ago, Diego Jackson was out for an injury. He is expected to be back in the lineup. A couple of the other Hawks out tonight, but could return in time for the playoffs. This game has huge implications on seeding, and we're going to tell you a little bit more about that in a couple of moments as we pause for the Ankeny High School Band as they play tonight's national anthem. The Ankeny High School Band tonight will be part of our halftime show. We'll be talking with their director of bands at Ankeny High School, Jennifer Williams. She'll be our halftime guest, and we'll show you the band and learn a little bit more about their show. Between the band's performances is a football game. We've talked a little bit about the running game of Northwest, Tim. Brady Grisham, I knew I'd do that. But let's start at the quarterback, too. Not too bad is running the ball at Sam Johnson. When you have a 1-2 combo, what's the defense have to do to slow something like that?
They're going to have a keys. They may have a scout looking at the quarterback to make sure that he always gives the ball away, so he doesn't take on a gash route coming back. So it really takes a disciplined defense. And what it does is as they're reading, that quarterback could drop back and pass because you don't have that pass rush coming at you.
Jason Williams ran the ball a little bit last week, but it was kind of an emergence of Caden Henkus. We might see the sophomore a little more tonight for a couple of reasons. Build depth at the position and also extend your players for postseason.
Yeah, it's coming up. You got, we're here in week 8. We got 2 more games left. These are playoff bound teams, so you want to save some of your players because that first round of playoff, you want to have your best players out there on the field.
Coach Rick Nelson told us earlier this week that kind of a head scratcher a little bit about what his team has developed. He kind of says, we are who we are. Who are the Ankeny Hawks?
They're 6-1. And they beat Southeast Polk. I think they have a lot of talent. They have a lot of offensive firepower, just putting it all together. They've had some injuries throughout the year, so I think how they can put that together. But they can play with anybody when all cylinders are hitting.
Then we had to follow up with Corey Capatich. And an exchange that happened in our post-game show with a guy who had a really good game. Dallin Christensen identified Cale Winter as a guy we should interview, and for good reason. Great on offense. Defense, 4 sacks. He doesn't even practice defense. One thing, though, he might want to practice are his post-game interviews.
Yes, you got to love the enthusiasm of a young man after a game, after a big win. He goes out there and he just kind of let things loose. So I don't know if he's got an NAIA deal now, for being glib. But anyway, he's a pleasure. I think true excitement from a great player after a game like that.
Well, on that defensive front tonight, it's going to be a tough game for the defense up front. Eli Moses, Kyle Crofta, Tim Thomason, and Trevor Zarkowski. Winter comes in kind of as that fill-in role. But when he comes in, he's big. We talked a lot about last week Chase Lamb in the open, Tim. I even asked Coach Capatich, I'm like, man, Chase just kind of a quiet game. Did I miss something? He says, no. He still had 5 tackles. When you don't say someone's name all the time, that doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing or they're not contributing, right?
Right. I think they had tackles all across the board. Mainly he said that the defensive line did a great job, and they were making tackles. Usually they are the ones eating up blocks, letting your linebackers get out there get tackles. So it wasn't a bad thing. Probably was a reflection of a total defensive effort against Centennial last week.
We have a game tonight between the Wolves and the Hawks. We'll step away for a couple of minutes. We'll bring in the third member of our broadcast crew. We'll look at other games going around the area and get you ready for kickoff at the top of the hour. This is high school football on CISN. Back in a moment on our pregame show.
Love a good win, however small or ordinary. Losing track of time, finding yourself with a few extra dollars in your pocket, soaking up the perfect Iowa day. These are the everyday delights and small victories that make us smile. These are the moments that connect us all as Iowans. And these are the moments that, more often than not, start with Iowa's farm families and the corn they're growing. Because when corn grows Iowa, Iowans win.
Hi, this is Chris from Fireplace Superstore, and you've probably noticed there's shortages on most everything in the market today. Well, Heat and Glow has helped us out this year, and they are focusing their energy on their gas fireplace inserts. So if you've got a drafty old wood-burning fireplace and you want to get it retrofitted into a beautiful, high-efficient gas fireplace, come see us. We will have product to sell you.
Heat and Glow gas fireplace insert from Fireplace Superstore. 109th and Douglas in Urbandale, just west of Homeacres.
Number 3, Ankeny Hawks. Number 7, Waukee Northwest getting ready for battle there. There's a look at the band and the cheerleaders and some of the Spirit Squad ready to run the Hawks onto the field. The coaching staff has made their way out of the locker room. Northwest, their coaches are also standing outside. Final instructions going on. Other games tonight, we have some good ones around the network. On CISN tonight, it's Dowling and Valley. Also, Urbandale and Waukee. Another game of proportion that has implications on postseason seeding is Centennial and Southeast Polk, as well as Cedar Rapids, Kennedy, and Johnston. Tim, of those games, which one do you want to keep closest eye on?
I think the Dowling and Valley, I think they're both going to be in the playoffs. They're just kind of they're going to be flipping back and forth. Centennial could be on the cusp. That's a good game. Kennedy and Johnston sits at 11 in the RPI, so they don't want to lose any ground. There's some teams that are on the bubble there that sliding down, if you only have 2 games to go, then with the RPI, you want to make sure you stay in the top 16.
Northwest tonight comes in after playing Centennial. That's the 7 seed in the RPI by the Iowa High School Athletic Association. Listen to some of these numbers that Northwest has had to play when you talk about better teams. Valley, the 11, Dowling, number 1, Polk, number 3, Johnston, 12. Then you have Sioux City West at 34, Sioux City East at 5, Centennial at 7, Ankeny at 3, and Urbandale at 13. Ankeny can't quite say they've played a tough schedule, but they've played a 9, a 1, a 3, an 11, and then play 9 tonight. Centennial, also tough schedule. Records, results, and your players' mental state are all kind of fragile beings sometimes this time of year. You can make yourself silly, Tim, kind of guessing which way things are going to go. But we do know a little bit about how this is all made up. The RPI is your own schedule, 37.5%, your opponent's schedule, 37.5%, and then it's your opponent's schedule at 25%. Make sense to you?
It's a lot of math. I started, I was doing it earlier today, like, okay, if they play and they win, then there's a change. And sometimes the head-to-head, the math just doesn't change a lot. When you have this many games in, it's not going to move dramatically, but there's really a logjam there. And we see that the Centennial, the winning percentage of their opponents, they have the highest winning percentage of their opponents of any team out there. So they have played a tough schedule, but your strength of schedules to play in, it's really the records that play out that get mathematically calculated.
I tell you what, we are getting ready for the run out onto the field. We've had senior night festivities for the Ankeny Hawks, for the band, the cross country, the dance team, the cheerleaders, the other cross country team, and the football team. We will bring you the team coming out onto the field, and then we will go to Dallin Christensen. But also I want to let you know that these two teams, Tim, when you look at them, pretty even in the stats as well. The one that stands out to me is the rushing. Ankeny has run the ball 181 times, 1139 for Northwest. It's almost 300 carries for 1283. So the yards per carry are different. When you have an 80-yard run though, it kind of throws off your average a bit.
It does. It helps. And they've done some. We've seen them before do some jet sweeps to Patton. I think those are the big plays. They like doing those big plays over 15, 20 yards. So in Northwest Waukee, they're definitely a ground and pound kind of team, as we saw last week. And they're not shy to give them the rock. Because I think the week before he had 30-some carries the game before they played Centennial. So they're willing to go out there and run the ball.
Hawks getting ready to make their way out of the tunnel. I think they forgot to tell everybody but the team when to come out. Oh, they're waiting for their music.
Making their entrance. It's senior night tonight.
The Hawks are 6-1. Their only blemish is to number 1 Dowling, 17-10 back on the early part of September. Tonight they get ready to face Waukee, and this game is one that comes down in one way to discipline. Third member of our crew tonight, Mr. Dallin Christensen. What does discipline have to do with football?
Discipline, Paul, means everything in football. It means you're holding your assignments. We saw Waukee Northwest do that a lot on the defensive line last Friday night against Centennial, and it allowed players like Cale Winter to have 4 sacks. Discipline means ball security. It's not that bad on the field tonight. Yeah, I'm wearing my gloves, I'm wearing my winter coat, but that's more for 9:30 as opposed to right now. It's really not that cold, it's not that windy, but when the weather gets colder, the ball gets harder, and it's harder to hold on to the football. Ball security will be important if the wind were to pick up a little bit tonight. J.J. Cole needs to have discipline and keep a tight spiral on the football. Both coaches talked about discipline. Corey Capatich talked about it from the penalties that Waukee Northwest had last week against Centennial. Rick Nelson talked about it when he's talking about his players squaring up and tackling with their shoulders and with their feet as opposed to trying to make arm tackles that players can run through. This is a big game tonight, as you guys have both mentioned, for playoff seeding. Discipline will mean a lot in terms of who ends up winning tonight. Back to you guys up in the booth.
Thank you, Dallin. Game time temp, 47 degrees. Feels like 41. The wind out of the north-northwest, 14 to 22. It is going to get cooler, but the wind is also going to die down. We should be to 40 degrees by the end of this game, somewhere around 10 o'clock. Got to lather up the body warmer, right?
This is great. This feels good. This actually is great weather for players if you get in the 40s here. I think a lot of guys aren't wearing long sleeves, so it's really a perfect night because you don't have the muscle pulls. things like that. Just gets yes, the ball does get a little slippery if it gets any moisture.
So there's Ankeny, there's Northwest on the screen right now after the ceremonial toss. We already know how this comes out. We'll tell you in a moment. If you are Ankeny tonight, what are some keys for victory, Tim?
One, I think, just mentioned there, the tackling, the discipline of tackling, they kind of get into arm tackling, but you're going to have to get a shoulder and square up if you're going to tackle this running game. On offense, I think it's just maybe simplifying the offense and not running so many complicated plays, but really do what you do well. He mentioned that one of their best games was only 3 running plays and about 4 different passing plays. So I think that's going to be the key to them, is simplifying and doing what they do.
Northwest wins the toss. They'll take the football. What are keys for the Wolves?
Can that offensive defensive line repeat what they did last week? If they can do that, they have a great zone blocking scheme with their offensive line. They can control that, get some running room for Grisham, and then the defense can play. And then the longer they can control the clock, that's the fewer offensive plays for Ankeny to run.
Well, that's one thing Coach Nelson talked about in the pregame. He's like, hey, we just haven't had the ball that much. There are teams that focus on getting the football, having possession, having touches. Hawks haven't been that because teams have tried to run the ball, run the clock. Northwest is going to do the exact same thing tonight.
Yeah, they did very well last week in the first half. Now, in the second half, they stalled. They had some threes, and now got themselves behind the chains a little bit. That's what Ankeny is going to want to do to them is get them 3 outs and then, field position and then strike early.
The Wolves in their road white, blue numbers trimmed to the left and right in the blue pants with white stripe, and the Wolves on the helmet. The Hawks in the home, maroon tops, yellow numbers trimmed in white with white pants trimmed both in maroon and gold. It's 7 o'clock. It's time for high school football. Week number 8 is underway from Ankeny Stadium. The opening kickoff is taken at the 3-yard line by Jamison Patton. He has a seam at the 30, 35, 40, has an escort, cross midfield, down the 40, holds on to the football, steps out of bounds at the 36-yard line. Huge return. Special teams also can play a factor in a football game.
I think that was the kicker, Tanner Philpott, that got in there. He was like the last man, got in his way. But you saw that burst of speed right around the 30, 35-yard line that Patton could kick on. That's a D1 player that, did a great job.
There was a block, and I still kind of missed it at about the 25 that made a huge spring for that. And so the Hawks actually will have the football first. Mistold you that out of the coin flip. J.J. Cole goes to work. First play, Jason Williams off right tackle. Gets a couple of yards there behind the the line play of Lucas Beroff. Also up front tonight, Ryan Mayer at center, Joe Kingston, Drew Montevice, and Jack Durfler. Starting for the defense, Eli Moses, Kyle Crofta, Tim Thomason, and Trevor Zerkowski up front for the Wolves. Pickup of 2, 2nd and 8. Second play from scrimmage after a big return by Patton. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the top of the formation. Cole to throw the football with time. Gets it complete. Almost dropped. Kind of juggled again by Patton. Looked like he was returning the football again. Kind of up and back.
Yeah, good little out play there, tackled by Owen Klunder. A little out, the linebackers dropping off in their zone. So picking up some good yardage there, making it a 3rd one. That's what you want to have is, 3rd and very short yardage.
Pickup of 7 for the Hawks. 3rd and 1, 10:51, first drive of the game. Williams gets the call, gets through the middle, has the first down. Ankle tackle made, Chase Lamb. That'll move the chains. Hawks keep the football and the clock moving once they're set.
Nice quick hitter up the middle. He didn't need a lot, pick up a couple of yards there, so good straight ahead blocking by the line.
Maddox Ward comes to the left side, Patton to the right of the formation. Throw to Patton, right side. He's quickly wrapped up. Grant Mackey there for Northwest. Little bit, maybe 3.5, 4 yards at most on that pickup.
Quick timing route there. So we're seeing that, their pass plays are going to the right. They see something. They could be setting something out. But if you play that too tight, Patton's going to give you that look and go upfield.
2nd and 7. They give him 3 on the play. Clock at 10 minutes. Trips to the left. Williams, the call up the middle, gets through that initial line before Adam Gardner kind of stopped the momentum. Also in there is Chase Lamb again for the Wolves.
Ryan Mayer, the center, got a good block there. He blocked and then kept blocking, which created that additional running yards for Williams to pick up additional yards to make it a 3rd and 2. So good blocking by Ryan.
Split receivers to the left and right. Williams in the backfield. They go Williams up the gut. He just puts his helmet down. Gardner kind of stuck the pile, jammed it up, but not before. Williams is able to get the first down. Again, second first down on the drive for the Hawks.
Northwest Waukee comes out the traditional 4-3 defense. You know, they have all 4 defensive linemen are down with their hands on the dirt there, so the linebackers got to fill and scrape. So see if they can plug that, give it more of a 5-man, 6-man front.
Gardner and Lamb in the middle position. The other two are split out. Up the middle again. Williams goes right through that hole, gets inside the 10, down to the 8-yard line before Logan Stotts has a little extra push at the end after contact inside the 5, down all the way to the 2.
Kingston in there blocking. He's over on the left side. That's a big guy. That's 6'3", 300-pound tackle out there moving the pile back. So tough one to block. So good blocking scheme up front here by the Ankeny Hawks on this drive.
8th play of the drive coming. 1st and goal from the 2. Williams, who better to finish off the drive with a handoff near the goal line. The 2 officials run, and they're going to say Williams is short.
Top by the interior of the world line. 2nd and goal.
So far this drive, it's really been Williams with the bulk of the carries. I wonder if they might do something outside. Definitely you don't want to try a passing play down here. They could run it, take it in.
Mason Rudolph in the line position, lined up at that fullback before the snap. Flag comes in from behind.
Usually the center is when the lineman's flinched inside.
And it is going to be against Ankeny.
Now this opens up the passing game. Now you may want to pass something, at the 2nd down here back at the 5.5.
Disconcerting signals. Number 32 in the defense. Half the distance to the goal. 2nd down.
Similar play, you could say, to last week with the defense talking. This time the penalty not picked up. Half the distance it's against Northwest. I don't know how much a half distance of 3 inches is. It's like 1.5 inches. Handoff, Williams up the gut, untouched, touchdown now, Jason Williams.
Quick drive there, taking the opening kickoff. Had great field position to start the drive after the Patterson return, and then they take it down, mostly running the ball inside and getting the touchdown.
In to attempt the extra point. It's Keegan Warner. Bailey to hold. Hawks march right down the field. Had a couple of 3rd down conversions, and Williams the 1-yard touchdown run. The extra point is up and good. 7-0 Hawks here from Ankeny Stadium.
1,300 vehicles on WaukeeChevy.com. Schottenkirk Chevy Waukee. If we don't have it, you can build it. Newly expanded service department means we're hiring. See the openings on WaukeeChevy.com. Schottenkirk Chevy Waukee. WaukeeChevy.com.
I'm off to college. Oh, rats!
Hi, Joe the Car Guy with a reminder. Before you send your kids off to school, set up an appointment with Westside Auto. We check everything from tires to belts, fluids, hoses, wipers, and lights. 44 inspection points to help prevent that oh rats moment for your students. Call us today to set up your appointment. We'll have your kids off to school saying,
For the best, head west.
Westside Auto.
Free Godfather's Pizza begins with the download. Order through my new online ordering app and start earning free pizza and sides. It's easy. Download the Godfather's Pizza online ordering app today. Do it.
Grant Carter back deep to receive this kick, but it's going to be short and taken at the 25 by the Wolves. Receiving that kick was Jackson Adams. We'll see Adams and the rest of the Wolf offense come on after this report from Dallin Christensen on our sideline.
That was a very, very solid opening drive for Ankeny, and they really attacked with some misdirection on the left side of the line. If you notice, a lot of those handoffs were to the right, and then you would see Williams start to cut back to the left, just getting that little additional patience. I'm behind the Waukee Northwest defensive setup right now, and I'll hand things back up to you and try to get you an update after it is.
Hand off to Brady Grisham. Connor Kaiser spying on Grisham the whole time, wrapped him up. Looked like the play at the end of the Valley game on Mason. And that is going to put Northwest behind the chains. So we look at that replay, just an absolute stunt by Kaiser. Again, a pass, and it's out of the extended reach of Jackson Adams. Incomplete, 3rd and long, just like that.
Yeah, Nolan Morrison in there. He was questionable for the game. He got a rush on there, so had to be a quick release by Sam Johnson out there. Now they're really behind the sticks, 3rd and 12.
Coach Capatich said we need to stay ahead of the chains. First drive, they're behind. Johnson rolls out with time, throws high, intercepted by the Hawks. That's Reed Johnson. He's down the sideline, makes a cut back at the 5, 3, 2, 1. Touchdown! Pick 6 for Reed Johnson, and the Hawks are flying on all cylinders so far.
Yeah, threw in a double coverage there, but threw it high over the receiver's hands. The safety was playing it like a center fielder. Reed Johnson picks it off, picked up his blockers, cut back into the middle of the field, returned it for a pick 6.
Couple of big blocks. Jamison right there at the end. And it looked like Donnie Brown Straight maybe had a block. Werner back on to attempt the extra point. 14-0 Hawks early on.
Love a good win, however small or ordinary. Losing track of time, finding yourself with a few extra dollars in your pocket, soaking up the perfect Iowa day. These are the everyday delights and small victories that make us smile. These are the moments that connect us all as Iowans. And these are the moments that, more often than not, start with Iowa's farm families and the corn they're growing. Because when corn grows Iowa, Iowans win.
Hi, this is Chris from Fireplace Superstore, and you've probably noticed there's shortages on most everything in the market today. Well, Heat and Glow has helped us out this year, and they are focusing their energy on their gas fireplace inserts. So if you've got a drafty old wood-burning fireplace and you want to get it retrofitted into a beautiful, high-efficient gas fireplace, come see us. We will have product to sell you.
Heat and Glow gas.
Johnson is going to be stopped. It looks like someone was watching tape for Ankeny.
Like
Noah Staub.
Yep, nice job there coming from behind the 4 and 8. Tackling behind the line of scrimmage created really a loss of 2 yards on that play, so it brings up a longer. Knowing your key is where that's going to go. So, yeah, they watched the film, see what happened last week, and cut down the running lanes.
Know what your tendencies are. Let's see what the Wolves do on third. They throw, passes blocked or knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Nolan Morrison.
Nolan playing a nice game here, getting in there, getting up there, blocking the pass, and creating, fourth down there. But Northwest Waukee moved the ball, got closer to midfield instead of punting back in the shadows of the goalpost. At least they have a little more room here to gain some field position.
Not sure they'll try to kick it to Patton after that great return. Let's see what happens. Philpott's kicked is away. It goes towards Westover. It's going to bounce inside the 20 and not much further than that. As we look at the other games, a quick look. Dowling leads Valley 7-0. Waukee in front of Urbandale 7-0 in that one. Here it's 14-0. As it has been an Ankeny game where they came out on a good return by Patton, a couple of big plays, and a lot of steady Eddie work to Williams. Ended in a 1-yard touchdown, and then a pick 6 by Reed Johnson. It'll be 1st and 10 on the 19 on the Hawk side of the field for J.J. Cole. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Williams gets the call on first down. He's met right away by the Wolves. Tim Thomason there for Northwest.
Well, it looks like it would be a no gain the way the line goes. It turns around that the linemen have moved the pile enough that it gained about 3 to 4 yards. It's still a positive run there. Still opens up the playbook for doing some play action with with your passing game.
Gain of 4. Jacob Moorfeld to the left of the formation, empty backfield. Cole's going to keep it, and he fumbles the football. Falling back on it is the offensive lineman, Drew Montevice, and Coach talked about him in the pregame show, about some of those seniors. These seniors have been around for a while. As sophomores, they were state champions, and Coach just, this group, they may be the winningest group we've had in their 3 years of high school football in Ankeny history, and that's saying something. A lot of good teams.
In the title game twice in their career, their goal is to get there a third time.
And that would be unprecedented in Ankeny history. Cole with a lot of time, but it's running out, and he is going to be sacked. Great chase behind the line of scrimmage. Cale Winter. Imagine that, Tim. Winter there again.
Yeah, who's that guy again? I think I heard his name. A lot of single coverage back there. The receivers could not find anything open if that was in the zone. So, plus when you had 10 yards to go, you have to hold the ball longer to look for something to break open. Nothing broke open. I thought maybe Cale or JJ could have taken off and run, but good pressure on that defense and another sack by Winter.
Reed Johnson a yard deep in his own end zone. He's got the pick 6, and now he punts it away. It's going to take a side move on Clunder, and no return. Let's go down to the sideline to Dallin Christensen, where the Wolves will take great field position to start this drive, Dallin.
Best field position of the night for Waukee Northwest. I was behind Ankeny's defensive huddle just a few minutes ago. Obviously very happy with their defensive line performance right now. They still want to attack the inside shoulders of the Waukee Northwest interior linemen and try to penetrate those gaps off of the inside shoulder.
Sam Johnson and the Wolves go to work. 2:25 left to go first quarter. Handoff is to the big guy, Grisham. He gets a little more yardage than he did the last time. He gets back to the line of scrimmage, but boy, he is not used to being stopped 2 runs in a row.
Henderson there. We saw some of Diego Jackson there. Nice to see him back in the game. They're going to key on him. He was the one that the workhorse last week, so trying to take him out of the office and make Johnson make this offense run.
Out of the gun go the Wolves. Send a man in motion. That's Scheifus. Johnson to throw off his back foot. Gets it to Jackson. Adams. And it's complete near the 40, but it's going to be short of the first down by a couple of yards. Reed Johnson there to the tackle for Ankeny.
We're seeing a lot of that out route, along the sideline, being open. They're giving him quite a cushion there, not getting beat deep. So that little 6-yard out is going to be there until they clamp it down.
90 seconds, clock moving for the Wolves. 3rd and short. They go to the workhorse. Great call. Getting the carry is Brady Grisham. 33 carries against Sioux City East, 32 last week. There on his 3rd drive, he finally gets some positive yardage and a first down for Northwest. Quick snap. They go back to the big guy, Grisham. Great run up to the 30-yard line, and we have a stoppage of play as a helmet came off.
Yep. Player safety.
Patton, one of the guys, he's the one who lost his lid.
And you don't want to tackle Grisham up high because he's a 6 foot, 195 pound, plays more closer to like 210. He does deliver a blow because he squares his shoulders up the field, so he's a load to get in front of. So if you give him a head of steam, he's going to be tough to bring down.
That goes back to the discipline that Dallin talked about in the open. Grisham, nice move. Halstead there. Actually, that's Kaiser that was there on that tackle.
Good job by Kaiser. As a scoring up, as coaches say, get in there, get your butt down low, and get your feet underneath you, then make the tackle. And instead of extending your arms and try to make an arm tackle.
Again, the Wolves go quick tempo. They go big man running, and they get a first down. Will Henricks, Reed Johnson, Sandvig, and also Jacob Kruger have to bring down Brady Grisham, and it is a team effort to try to do that.
No surprising, they're running behind Cale Winter, the big lineman. I mean, he's getting out there and getting some blocks in, so doing a great job.
12 down, 14 for Ankeny, 0 for Waukee Northwest.
We
are
We are so much more
than an energy company.
We are connectors.
Community protectors.
And clean energy leaders.
We are
Job creators.
Friends and neighbors.
stewards of your dollars and savings.
Yes, we.
We are so much more.
We are the energy
Behind your everyday.
And we are
Obsessively.
relentlessly.
At your service.
For 75 years, Holt service trucks have hit the streets of central Iowa to help customers in need. It might be for plumbing, heating, cooling, a water heater, or the usual repairs and maintenance. We've done that with quality work from quality employees who bring passion and personality to the job. That's the Holt difference. It gives me great pride to see how our company has grown from the seeds of success my grandfather planted in 1947. That's why more and more central Iowans are saying, let Holt handle that.
Ankeny scores an offensive touchdown as well as a defensive after a big special teams play. They lead 14-0 after one quarter of play back here at Ankeny Stadium as we begin quarter number 2. Along with Tim Halber and Dallin Christensen, I'm Paul Yeager. Welcome in. This is the CISN webcast of this Week 8 matchup. Northwest has the ball, their third possession of the game, and they are a little more under control. Maybe not quite ahead of the chains on every play, Tim, but this has been their best drive so far.
Yep, another good tackle there by Nolan Morrison, getting up there. Looks like they're trying to find their spy. The offensive line is having a good job of getting out there, getting their blocks with these different disguised fronts on there. So the more they can mix it up, but it looks like they have either Morrison or probably Reed Johnson out there spying on Grisham.
No Hawks down defense coming there. Kaiser on the chase. Smith almost... It is picked off. Jamison Patton on a dead sprint. Now Patton's trying to return it all the way towards midfield. Gets back across the 45. Penalty flag comes out at the 45. I'm going to guess this is going to be on the return right in that area, trying to spring one more for Patton. He just absolutely, Tim, watch this burst of speed.
Yeah, he closed quickly on that ball there. He was open, but he went back there, taking it back in. Carter was the one that made the tackle. Looks like there's a block in the back possibly by Diego.
Yeah, it looks like Diego Jackson, yep.
And there's a lot of bodies flying around there. You don't practice that very much. You try to get a block, and just all you have to do is get those hands out there. But that's that closing speed by Patton coming in there, closing in, reading that.
Okay, so that's one thing that's the first interception was overthrow.
Right.
Second time, that's a little riverboat gambler there.
Yep, he took a chance on that. He was in front of him. He saw it coming, so he cut it off there on a deadline. We thought he might have dropped it, but that's good hands by him to make the turnover.
1st and 10 for the Hawks. Penalty takes them all the way back to the 34-yard line. 11:18 to go before half. Williams' first play from scrimmage is a run, and he squirts his way up towards the 40. Adam Gardner stopped Williams, but not before he got 5.
They've got him around the ankles there, but that's good drive blocking up front. But these are all coming inside the tackles, the run blocking there. So we had Waukee Northwest driving, got down to the 25-yard line. Look at they had a drive, they're going to do something with it, and then another turnover, in the passing game.
2nd and 5 from the 39. In motion is Patton. They go Williams left side, gets to the outside. He's got the first down and then some. Steps out of bounds after Chase Lamb knocks him out. Lamb, almost 50 tackles on the season. If you round up, that's what he has coming into the game. He is critical to their team's success. When you have a guy like that, Centennial clearly didn't look like they were running at him much last week. This week, it looks like Ankeny doesn't really care.
No, you got Lamb on one side. Eli Moses had a good game last week, plays one of the defensive end positions, and seems like they're able to get the blocks on those. Blocks on them are the key to running on this defense.
1st and 10 from the Hawks near midfield at the 46. 10-37. They go Williams, same play, left tackle. He's got about the same result. Add a couple more. He gets the first down. On first down, pickup of 13, nearly 14 on that play.
Bringing Carter on the block out there, Joe Kingston out there. These guys are doing a good job of moving that pile backwards. This defensive line has had a little bit of struggle dealing with the size of the Ankeny Hawk offensive line. They're getting out, they're getting in front, creating some great lanes for Williams.
1st and 10 again for the Hawks, this time at the northwest 42-yard line. Clock approaching 10 minutes. Williams, the workhorse, goes down, and he just bowls over Logan Stotts before taking a shot himself.
Brought down by 3 Stotts.
Yeah, Stotts got down there, got lower, put a shoulder pad in him to stop him, but not after he gained 3 yards. Another pull play. Kingston pulling from his tackle position comes up inside, the right guard there, which that's a lot to see a 6'3", 300-pound lineman coming at you.
Might rethink your life choices, right? Erlmeyer and Ward lined up on the near side. Cole with time. Clock running, throws it right at the line. There is nobody anywhere near. I think the flag is going to come out.
They may have said he was outside the pocket, and they're going to let him, and he's in the grass, so they may let him go with just incomplete pass. I don't see any laundry out there, so.
I saw that back judge. He was reaching for his back pocket. I thought he was looking around to see, was there some receiver I missed? No flag.
Or he's adjusting his belt, maybe.
That's it.
Doing. But the defensive line's getting, Cole's not having much time setting up the backfield.
Timeout, Ankeny at the 9:24 mark. Back in a moment.
What they call a snow day, we call a work day. And the resume I leave behind is nothing but clean pavement. That's why I stay prepared for all the depths of winter with a plow that won't back down from a little overtime and takes care of business beyond 9 to 5 and then 5 to 9 without skipping a beat. A plow you'd call a real MVP, the kind only Western builds, to get more jobs done faster.
Visit Truck Equipment Inc. today at truckequipmentinc.com.
Free Godfather's Pizza begins with the download. Order through my new online ordering app and start earning free pizza and sides. It's easy. Download the Godfather's Pizza online ordering app today. Do it.
Over 1,300 vehicles on WaukeeChevy.com. Schottenkirk Chevy Waukee. If we don't have it, you can build it. Newly expanded service department means we're hiring. See the openings on WaukeeChevy.com. Schottenkirk Chevy Waukee. WaukeeChevy.com.
Ankeny leads 14-0 out of the timeout. It'll be 3rd and 6. Trips come to the right. 2 receivers go to the left. Empty backfield for Cole. 3rd and 6. JJ takes the snap, looks to the left, throws, caught by Williams. Forward progress puts him near the sticks and past the sticks. Move the chains, pick up a 6. First down, Hawks.
Good route there because he knew exactly where the first down marker was and caught it on that line. So many times receivers go out there, they cut short their route and their yards short. They don't get the forward progress and end up with the 4th down. So good route running.
9 minutes to go before halftime. We're going to be showing the Ankeny Band and talking about the Ankeny Band tonight with their director. So stay tuned for that on the halftime show. Williams, more traditional look for him, is getting the ball in a handoff situation. Flag comes from the far side of the field at the end of the play.
Might be a late hold.
Looks like Cale Winter was in on that tackle. And Lamb there as well.
He's best. Face mask tacked on, so incidental, but it moves the ball, makes it a first. Well, they say it should
1st and 1.
1st and 1, maybe, and the clock says 1st and 10. So I think
short,
2nd and 1.
Short goal to go. Patton in motion. They throw back, reverse Statue of Liberty-esque play to Williams. He spins his way through. He's close to the sticks. They didn't take that play out of the playbook this week.
No, it may come out now. I think Coach talked about, we have these plays you want to run. He goes, coaches do that all the time. They create new plays, they keep adding them in, and they don't take enough out. But I think sometimes you simplify it. They've been running the ball effectively with Williams up the middle, and just got to get that passing game going if they can.
Centennial and Southeast Polk Rams up 7-3. Valley has kicked a field goal to cut that lead 7-3. Handoff. Williams. And I'll tell you what, the Hawks are struggling to get this first yard. Chase Lamb makes the tackle of Williams. We didn't say Lamb much last week, but we certainly have said his name a lot. Actually, that is not Lamb.
Moses came in there.
Yeah, that's Eli Moses who's
came in
there.
Good job from his end position. Cracking down as Williams tried to cut it in, close the hole quickly, causing a short gain there. So now it is correct. It's 3rd and 2 at the 22.
And Patton go to the left after they thought the play was to the right. Timeout, Adam Booth. The offensive coordinator was, to put it mildly, not pleased. And this is my time where I say, hey, Coach Booth's family, how are you doing? Yeah. How are things in Waverly? How are things in Missouri? I know that Coach Booth's family watches, and I say hello to them. And I know that there's Northwest family in Decorah near Hudson tonight that are watching. And kind of fun. Whole lot of extra screen watching going on this time of year, Tim.
Especially when it's cooler out. You can sit at home, fire up the laptop. Now you're putting in, got smart TVs. You can watch the games. So you say welcome to them. Hope you're nice and warm and safe. And hello to Waverly. I know there's a big homecoming weekend up in Waverly this weekend.
Oh, there is?
There is. That's what I hear. Yeah.
New president inaugurated this afternoon.
Yes.
My mom was going to watch or listen to the Independence West Delaware game tonight. She wasn't going out. It's her birthday. Happy birthday, Mom. She's like, yeah, no, I'm going to stay inside tonight. I don't know anybody playing. I just know one of the coaches, so leave it at that. I said, well, your grandson will be on at halftime. You can watch him. Okay. 3rd and 2 for the Hawks from the 23. Williams gets the call. Great run behind the line of scrimmage. Harry Leinen.
Yeah.
And it is going to be 4th down and very close. Who would have thought 1st and 1, and the Hawks are going to have to go for it on 4th and 1.
So now do you want to do the handoff? We've seen this before where Cole, being 6'7", could take the quarterback sneak, bring a tackle or a tight end up behind him to get momentum to get a first down. So see if he takes the ball under center. Nope.
Cale Winter right there on that nose tackle position. They go snap with Williams. He is stopped behind the line of scrimmage. That's going to be a turnover. Adam Gardner makes the stop for the Wolves. Huge play.
Yeah, great play by Gardner coming up there. Knew if Cole wasn't going to be under center, it was probably going to go to Williams. They're going to run straight ahead. He shot the gap, got through, got the tackle for no gain. That's all they needed to get the turnover on downs.
Here's a look at that replay again. Yep, stunted right through that guard and tackle spot. Wolves go back. This time it is quarterback keeper Sam Johnson makes his way up to about the 25-yard line.
Before that turnover, they drove the field down the 25-yard line. What you don't want to do is keep giving chances back to this dangerous Northwest Waukee team because they'll hurt you. They'll take it downfield and score and make it a very close game.
Here, I thought we'd have all sorts of reports with Dallin Christensen tonight. The way we were off to a couple of scores. DC will check in with you in a moment after this play. 2nd and 8 for Northwest. Handoff Grisham. Round the right side, he's in open territory near the 40, out of bounds after a huge carry for Brady Grisham. So now, Dallin, is that? Do you feel the momentum shift there on the sidelines?
Very much a momentum shift right now, Paul, because that 3 or 4 stops on 1st and 1, obviously a big stop because you get to 21-0 potentially, and you had to think that Ankeny was looking for 7 points with that 1st and 1 situation. Over on the Ankeny sidelines right now, not a whole lot of adjustments, just more of an emotional gut check to have them execute.
Johnson fakes, keeps, goes up for about a yard gain. Will Heinrich the stop along with Carson Booth.
Heinrich did a nice job there because you have to watch that quarterback. Someone has to be spying on the quarterback all the time in case he wants to run. It looks like Johnson's running a little bit more than he did last week, creating some more confusion there with the defense, making him read, hoping it opens up more running room for Grisham throughout the game.
2nd and 10, no gain on the play. 5:33 before half. In motion is Jackson Adams. Play action. Rollout. Johnson throws off his back foot. Adams a little too much of a lead. Ben Sandvig on coverage. Didn't have to do much on that play. It'll be 3rd down for Northwest.
In a left-handed, if you're a right-handed quarterback doing a left-handed roll, it's hard because you have to take an extra step to square your shoulders back to the line of scrimmage. You either tend to float the ball more like that, you overthrow your receiver. So, but he likes to roll to the left. It creates more running room. He had the time to throw, but it's always a hard one to complete.
Coach Capatich told us this week, hey, we had a little trouble adjusting and moving the football in the second half. Let's see if they've made any adjustments here in the first 2 plays. Johnson rolls out with time. Ball is tipped into the air. It's nearly intercepted. That would have been a big play by Nolan Morrison. That ball spun up like a wounded duck.
I don't know if it was Hendricks that hit him from behind that hit the ball because the ball went flying straight up. Morrison's eyes got as big as baseballs. He thought he had a pick 6.
Yep, it was Hendricks. It was Will Heinrichs who made that initial, and I guess his hand was going forward, so it wasn't deemed a fumble, but an incomplete pass, and that punt goes out of bounds at the 40. If not earlier, and the Ankeny offense will go back to work at the 5:14 mark. We go back down to Dallin Christensen for another in-game checkup. What's going on?
Let's go back to the Jamison Patton interception, guys, because you talked about it up in the booth about the anticipation of Patton. That's a lot of film study right there because Patton recognized, and I saw it last week during the Centennial game, when Johnson rolls to his right, he tends to lock down on a receiver near the sideline. Patton noticed that. He was 3 steps into his break even before Johnson had started to wind up and throw the football. So that was just a great read on Patton's part.
Jamison on the field with offense, but it's Jason Williams on first down. He'll get the call and get a couple of yards before he's stopped. Looks like Thomason there, Tim Thomason for the Wolves.
It's like Yankee has seen a little bit there. I think it's Braden Carter out there and Kingston kicking out, creating that lane inside between the tackle and guard there. They've had a lot of positive yardage, maybe going back to some basic plays or getting this running game going again and get some tempo in the offense.
Kruger, Erlmeyer, and Ward near side. They go back to Patton on the throwback pass. Jamison trying to make some type of lemonade out of the lemons that came to him on that play, and Brian Mayer's a little slow to get up. He'll roll back up, kind of hobbling there. And it'll be 3rd and 9. Sorry, Tim.
Changing out the defensive lineman, keeping them fresh in there because they've been on the field quite a bit here. But it looks like Yankees getting a little fancy in offense, trying to find some screens, trying to find something downfield. So that play lost a yard. So now you've got 3rd and 9, and they're going to bring the defense. They may blitz a linebacker to rush Cole.
Hawks need to get to near midfield. Cole with time. It goes to Erlmeyer. Erlmeyer. Boy, a lot of the Ankeny fans think that Erlmeyer might have been interfered with. Wolves fans think that's just great defense by their guy, Owen Klunder, on coverage.
Erlmeyer had a beat on the inside because you always want to – that corner wants to push him to the sideline, but who gets the inside route. He had him beat down there, but he was tight coverage, but no flag came out, so the ball turned over on downs. After this punt. Johnson on to kick.
He'll stand back at his own 25. Rolls out rugby style. Now he's just going to keep it. The fake is on. Johnson has to get to midfield and does. Reed on his feet. 40-35. Knocked out of bounds by Owen Klunder. And I thought, wow, Johnson's been holding back on the rugby style punt. He just kept running.
That's what that's designed to do, is if it opens up, it did. It's not the first time he's carried the ball tonight, so he goes, why not keep it up? So he got out there, looked, and they collapsed that end there. I don't think it was designed that way. I think he just took off. He found an open lane there. What they asked the coach if that was a design fake punt or if he did that on his own, but that picked up a huge first down, getting down to the 34-yard line.
I was thinking, a couple of times that Johnson, he's made tackles as the punter, not your average punter. And so he made a great play on the fake. He's also had to make touchdown-saving tackles.
Right.
He's no, he's no Tory Taylor.
Sometimes the coach tells the punter, you can do a fake punt whenever you want. Just be 100% correct. Just make sure you get the first down.
The reception to Williams is good for 4. 2nd and 6, 3:42, clock stopped because the play went out of bounds. Williams next to Cole. Play action, they go back to Patton. And J-Mo makes the grab at about the 25. And therefore, Northwest was Stotts.
They double coverage. When he's on the inside, he's the slot receiver there, does a little hook in, look, but they got a guy on him tight. They have one over the top of him, so they aren't going to let him get free too much. But I thought Cole might look, downfield, because I think a pump fake there, the right sideline or left sideline is going to be wide open.
4 receivers to the right of Cole. They go left with Williams on the counter play. He'll get the first down and near the 20 at the 3:05 mark. Ankeny leads 14-0 here. They scored 2 quick first touchdowns and have kind of run out of steam a couple of times. Southeast Polk has put another touchdown on the board. They leave the Jaguars 14-3. Dowling also, same score over Valley. Waukee leads Urbandale 7-0. Johnston in front of Kennedy, 21-love. That game in the second quarter. Cole to keeper, left side, gets away one tackle, dives towards the sticks, but he's going to be short. Tackle made by Grant Mackey for Northwest.
Good positive yards there. I think it was a run all the way, but good stiff arm to gain another 4 yards. But also he gets out of bounds and stops the clock at 2:39. So gives it a little more time to get your offense set to see what they want to do. So if they want to go back to that running game to Williams.
Hawks more than not have been ahead of the chains. They're that way right now. 2nd and 5 from the 16. Trips to the right. They go Williams left side again. He darts his way. He's going to be short of the first down. Good open field tackle by Northwest.
Does a good job. That line pulls out there. They get, they're kicking out their blocks, and all the Williams does is go behind that line, finds little seams and cuts it upfield. He doesn't tend to bounce it outside going east and west. He's a great north and south runner, so he brings it up into a 3rd and 2. Critical.
From the 13, 2 minutes, 10 seconds. Williams up the gut, has the first down. He'll get inside the 10 and not much further. Chase Lamb, Adam Gardner there. Actually, Eli Moses for Northwest.
Great job by Ryan Mayer getting a block there. It's hard to do as a center. Snap the ball and go out and get a block on the interior lineman. But that was up there right over the guard. Taking up there, getting a first down. Because last time they had trouble, they had a 2nd and 1 and couldn't get it done in 3 plays.
1st and goal from the 8. Williams behind Cole. Snap of the ball, give to Williams, up the middle, runs, turns his legs, gets inside the 5. Big block there behind Joe Kingston and Ryan Mayer. 2 guys down on the field, Lamb and Gardner just flat out run over.
Those are great seniors. They've been through this program before. Coach talks highly of their leadership. Kingston and Mayer going out there, you're providing a great example to the juniors and linemen behind them that this is how the work is done. So great drive blocking here.
And, Tim, they've been great at rushing the ball tonight. 104 yards for Ankeny on the ground, 36 only for Northwest. 2nd and goal from the 2. Clock approaches a minute. Cole to throw the football towards the end zone. He's got a guy caught. Touchdown. Evan Erlmeyer score for the Hawks with 1:01 left to go.
They had a tight trips there on the right-hand side. I think Erlmeyer was on the inside slot receiver, so he let it clear out. He ran in underneath and went to the flag. Short flag, and he had the touchdown.
Been waiting for Erlmeyer all night. They were locked on him the whole way. Just an absolute dart. Evan got his guy beat. No interference or anybody to get in his way that time. 20-0, Ankeny waiting on the extra point. Kick from Werner is up, and it is 21-0. Ankeny the lead. 1:01 to play here from Ankeny Stadium.
75 years, Holt service trucks have hit the streets of central Iowa to help customers in need. It might be for plumbing, heating, cooling, a water heater, or the usual repairs and maintenance. We've done that with quality work from quality employees who bring passion and personality to the job. That's the Holt difference. It gives me great pride to see how our company has grown from the seeds of success my grandfather planted in 1947. That's why more and more central Iowans are saying, let Holt handle that.
Not all used vehicles are created equal.
DeArmond certified used vehicles have a big advantage.
What sets us apart is that all used vehicles receive a 175-point inspection.
Carfax report, 2 oil changes, collision deductible coverage, and wheel, dent, and windshield repair.
Also, all DeArmond certified come with 2 warranties. A 1-year 12,000-mile bumper-to-bumper and a 2-year 100,000-mile powertrain. DeArmond Ford Indianola, DeArmond Automotive Knoxville, DeArmondAuto.com.
Keegan Warner to tee it up. He kicked the extra point to make it 21-0 here. His kicks have been short so far in this half. Gets his leg into it there again. A little bit of a short kick, running kick made, and it's on the ground. The Wolves a better fall on it. That's a live football, Dallin Christensen. So, Dallin, we talked about momentum switch. I'm kind of guessing you're going to tell me something maybe has flipped from one side of the field to the other.
Well, it absolutely has. And one of the things I've noticed with Ankeny's running game, they're going right at Cale Winter. Sometimes when you have a defensive lineman that's as good as Cale Winter, your natural instinct is to run away from him. They're going right at Cale Winter with an inside attack.
Wolves go on the counter with Grisham. They had the 3 receivers out to the wide side of the field to clear thing out. Morrison, Booth, and Diego Jackson there for the Hawks. Clock moving. Wolves in a little bit of a hurry here to get another playoff.
Likes to roll out to his left.
Johnson to throw. Ball's tipped or knocked down there. Nolan Morrison, incomplete. That'll stop the clock at 34 seconds.
Morrison's having himself a game here, and then he was questionable that he was going to play this game. He's been banged up, so coming in playing quite well. So that's, if you can't get the ball past the line of scrimmage, that's a great defensive play here. So sets up a 3rd and 2.
Coming in for Northwest, Will Retz. He'll line up off the line of scrimmage. Grisham to get the handoff. On the counter play, Patton comes up, rips him back down, keeps him on his feet, and he cannot escape much further than that. Booth makes sure Grisham doesn't go any further. Timeout called. No, first down, sorry. He got the first down before he knocked him back. Sorry, Tim.
Yeah, again, the forward progress that the clock will stop till they set the chains, and then they'll start again. So see if they want to get one more play in here before the half ends.
2 receivers to the left, Grisham to the left side of Johnson. Now he goes in behind. Clock moving at 10. Handoff, Grisham. He evades 1 tackler, but not for long. Again, Nolan Morrison. Boy, we thought when we last saw the Hawks 2 weeks ago, Morrison and Diego Jackson looked pretty bleak. We haven't seen Benetham. He's out for a couple of weeks. Might get Devin Akers back by the time the playoff run happens for the Hawks, but they will go into the locker room up 21-0. Rick Nelson is on his way to the locker room. Dallin Christensen is on his way to find head coach Rick Nelson. We'll see what he has to say. I'm not even going to put you in the betting game of what he has to say, but I'm sure it'll be
probably 10 words or less.
Well, we'll find out. You know, that's how it goes. Hawks scored 2 in the first quarter, and then they get that 3rd one right there before half. And we are waiting for Coach, who I'm not sure where he went. I think everybody was bundled up on Dallin, and we missed him. That's Booth. All right, Dallin, we will. There we go. Now he's making his way. You'll get off the field with him. Kind of talking to the lineman. He's walking down to the goal line, so we'll go off the field here in just a moment. Devin, we'll keep it here. We'll keep it here for the break because we need to get into the band because there's no performance, and she has to cue things up. So we got all sorts of things going. We'll quickly get to Dallin Christensen here in a moment for a quick word. All sorts of things. Let's go to Dallin for this report.
Right now we're on. Right from the very start of the game, you get the big punt return or kickoff return at the start of the game. You get up 14-0. Big points of the half for you.
Yeah, our defense is playing great. Offensively, we're our own worst in it. We haven't blocked the play right yet. So I'm hoping in the second half maybe we can figure out how to block one play correctly.
Defensively, what's the biggest adjustment you have to make?
Well, 28's a heck of a running back, and he's not going to go anywhere. I'm assuming they're going to keep pounding it to him. They get the ball. They just have done a nice job tackling him. And if we just keep tackling, we'll be okay. We just can't let that kid get going.
Best of luck in the second half. Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.
All right, I know the band's ready to go. Back to you, Paul.
All right, thank you very much. Jennifer Williams, the Director of Bands for Ankeny High School, is with us. The band is on the field. They're ready to go. What's the name of the show this year?
The show is Rise Up.
And we're all in the, I call it the prone position. What's the theme? I mean, you say rise up, but what does that mean? What's that mean to you?
So the show concept is very much about facing adversity and coming out of it in strong, independent self and being able to rise out of any difficult or adverse situation.
We have your props are the. So yeah, I'm taking you from doing your job there a little bit, making sure Tom knows when to say. All right, what's the first song?
So the first song is Rise Up by Audra Day.
Carson Bright, Ivan Nagel, and Reese Johnson is the band ready.
The props on, I was going to say the props are fences, and they are spread out across the field. What's that to signify?
We went for an urban setting, so think like the movie Rent, or the musical Rent, think along those lines. And then the ladders, obviously you're going to see us rise up them later.
And your first soloist?
That's Nick Roby, a sophomore euphonium player.
And he was in the formation there. And so now we begin the movement of the band. The color guard now picks up their flags for the first time. So now the crowd will applaud. We're going to move into the next movement, which is?
This is Wild Nights from Harmonium by Adams.
And this is where the band starts to do some of their movements across the field. Who wrote your show or helped conceive the show from the field?
We have a design team that we work with. It's the band directors, and then we work with Darren Mell, and our drill designer is Chad Kwame out of Wisconsin. And then our music is arranged by Jeff Chambers out of Washington State.
And the two soloists we just heard?
That was Kylie Watson on clarinet and Jeremy Hulse on alto sax.
This band is over 200 members.
230 strong.
It takes a lot of organization.
Absolutely.
And when you're moving that many, Jennifer, I mean, it is hard to make sure nobody hits somebody. You've worked camps for weeks and weeks and months to have this show look as good as it does.
Yes, we have. These kids have worked so hard to really make the show incredible, and we're so proud of them. And we're blessed with an awesome staff. You know, it's awesome to have 5 band directors on the field every day working with me to make this group functions as well as they do. It's pretty incredible. And especially, we were just moving at 176 beats per minute, which is quite fast.
Okay, we saw a little bit of movement when the players were stationary and they kind of shifted their weight. What is that called?
We very much borrow from the art form of dance with marching band, and so they did things like plies and just other visual aspects of the show that just add a little extra something rather than just standing still and holds. They enhance the music.
We've heard a lot of solos. Now we're going to start to see a few more ensembles are going to develop. What's the reasoning for that?
So if you look down front, next to our front ensemble, you'll see a brass group on one side and a woodwind group on the other side. We wanted to make this a small group moment. This is more of the terror. Life is, facing adversity. Life can be hard sometimes. So we just went for this smaller group to clear the field, to create some more visual interest with the color guard, with the ladders, etc.
And you had guard members climbing the ladders, and you're spread out in different, I would call it clusters, maybe?
Yes, yep. Yeah, the goal was to clear the field and make it a much more intimate setting, and this also allows for the students, this is where we can rise up through our difficult challenges and become strong individuals. So you'll see that the students have all taken their hats off so they can be much more individual but still in a uniform. And I know our parents love it because then they can find their own kid on the field.
I'm at the 38. No, wait, the
yes,
22.
Exactly.
Yes. And intimate at 230 members. That's hard to do, but
yes.
You're able to do it. And now we're building here.
It's one of our favorite moments of the show right now, right there when we get nice and loud and big.
Can you ever be too loud in marching band?
You can be too loud when you don't play with good tone.
No, sections don't have competitions for that or anything, do they?
If they do, they're not supposed to tell me about them. So right now we're featuring our percussion section over on we call it the side 2 35-yard line. Doing some very much work like their winter drumline process that we just started last school year.
And now the color guard is down a coat. It's cold for them, but they're dancing. What are we featuring here now that the line is moved?
So right now it's a woodwind feature with a little saxophone trio over on the side of Nick Ambersekia, Jeremy Holsigan, and Carter Danielson. And the color guard switching the color just to bring some more brightness, again, some individuality. It goes very nicely with this flag.
Okay, we're building up here towards the end.
Yep.
Now this is where I like to watch the pit because they start bopping along. That's okay?
Well, and they play so many notes, and we want them to. We talk about that this is all a theatrical production, so everybody has to perform. Whether you're playing bass drum in the front ensemble or spinning a flag or in the very back playing tuba, this is a performance for everybody.
And there you still have some people climbing.
We do still have some people climbing because, again, we're going to rise up and we want to use those climbing apparatuses on the field. Yeah, Marching Hawks.
Your Ankeny Marching Hawks.
And if you wouldn't have tapped me, I don't think I would have. I knew I was supposed to watch. I get so wrapped up in things. There's so much to watch.
Yes.
I have a hard time, from field level, from up here, we're kind of spoiled, but whenever I go lower, it's harder to see. How do you keep track of everything?
It takes a lot of organization, and I just find different things I try to find different things to watch every single day. So one day I might, just stare right at the 50-yard line the whole rehearsal, and the next day I might decide, okay, today I'm going to spend more time with the mellophones, or I'm going to work on the color guard. It also really helps, again, that I have 5 fabulous band directors on the field while I am teaching up in the press box, as well as color guard, additional color guard staff and percussion staff. So there's a lot of people out there to help me find this stuff to work on. But I spend a lot of time, like our football coaches do, watching video and what do I see, what do I hear, comparing the drill charts that our drill writer writes to what we actually look like on the field. So there's a lot that goes into running a marching band, that's for sure.
And you have to run them tomorrow through a competition in the morning, state competition.
Yep.
And then a big afternoon, evening here right where we're at.
Yes, I'd like to encourage everybody to come out tomorrow night here to the Ankeny City Stadium for the Mid-Iowa Band Championship. We're going to have 22 fabulous bands here performing starting at 4 o'clock. Some of the best bands in the state of Iowa, for sure. You'll also hear from the Centennial Marching Band in exhibition, as well as at the very end, 10:10 p.m., your Ankeny Marching Hawks one last time in their home stadium.
5 minutes earlier than last Saturday.
5 minutes earlier. I might get to bed before 1:30 tomorrow night. We'll see.
You march in the morning at Waukee for state competition, right?
We do, yes. I believe our performance time there is 11:15 at the original Waukee Stadium.
Yes. Classic. Sometimes
classic.
That's how we refer to it as. Either
I
way.
like that.
All right. And also, before we go, trip year.
Yeah, 39 days until we load onto 5 charter buses and head to Disney World and Universal Studios. So we're going to march in Magic Kingdom on the Friday after Thanksgiving, and we're really excited about that. And then actually on Thanksgiving Day, we're going to perform in we're going to do a Your Instrumental workshop. That's the old name for it. I can't remember the new name. But basically, it gives us an opportunity to experience what it's like to be a professional musician in a recording studio situation. So they give us things like we might play along with the soundtrack to The Lion King. So we'll see the video of The Lion King playing while the kids are playing along. And it's a really great learning experience. And then I think 207 students and 30-some adults plus, we're all going to have Thanksgiving dinner together at the hotel, and it's going to be a great time. Exhausting, but it's going to be great. So I'm really excited about it.
Jennifer Williams, I appreciate your time and insight on the halftime show. Great season. It's always great to hear the band. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you.
All right, halftime here. Hawks lead the Wolves 21-0. We'll take a look at halftime stats and get you ready for half number 2 after this. This is high school football. You're watching CISN.
75 years, Holt service trucks have hit the streets of central Iowa to help customers in need. It might be for plumbing, heating, cooling, a water heater, or the usual repairs and maintenance. We've done that with quality work from quality employees who bring passion and personality to the job. That's the Holt difference. It gives me great pride to see how our company has grown from the seeds of success my grandfather planted in 1947. That's why more and more central Iowans are saying, let Holt handle that.
Not all used vehicles are created equal.
DeArmond certified used vehicles have a big advantage.
What sets us apart is that all used vehicles receive a 175-point inspection.
Carfax report, 2 oil changes, collision deductible coverage, and wheel dent and windshield repair.
Also, all DeArmond certified come with 2 warranties. A 1-year 12,000-mile bumper-to-bumper and a 2-year 100,000-mile powertrain. DeArmond Ford Indianola, DeArmond Automotive Knoxville, DeArmondAuto.com.
Do you know what the best part about being a dog is? You can hear disaster before it even happens. You know what they say about disaster. Sometimes it can inspire a symphony. An honest day's work deserves an honest day's treat.
No extra charge.
And that is why we choose Honest Wrenches. No extra charge. And it's how service should be.
Hi, this is Chris from Fireplace Superstore, and you've probably noticed there's shortages on most everything in the market today. Well, Heat and Glow has helped us out this year, and they are focusing their energy on their gas fireplace inserts. So if you've got a drafty old wood-burning fireplace and you want to get it retrofitted into a beautiful, high-efficient gas fireplace, come see us. We will have product to sell you.
Heat and Glow gas fireplace insert from Fireplace Superstore. 109th and Douglas in Urbandale, just west of Homemaker.
Getting ready for half number 2, it's Ankeny and Waukee Northwest from Ankeny Stadium. It's the Ankeny Hawks leading 21-0. They scored 2 in the first, and then one right before half, touchdowns, that is. Along with Dallin Christensen and Tim Halber, I'm Paul Yeager. Glad to have you here at halftime. It's been a pretty lopsided statistic, but not as much as you would think, Tim. Rushing, Ankeny 104, 24 passing, total 128. Northwest, it is the same, passing 24, but the big story becomes the rushing, 44 yards. Grisham tonight, 11 carries, only 38 yards. Anything stand out to you on those stats?
Last week he had 22 carries at halftime, so it looks like the Ankeny Hawk defense has found a way to key on him. We're seeing that Johnson rushing a lot more. He had 4 carries, but he's having a very difficult time getting his passing game going only 3 out of 10.
Well, and when you're trying to key on somebody, that was an Achilles heel for this Ankeny team earlier this season, was stopping the run.
It was, and I think now that the coach said the longer they play in this defense, the better they get at it. They know their assignments. They're coming in 3-man fronts, 6-man fronts, confusing things. They've gotten a lot of pressure on the quarterbacks. That defense has saved them when they are driving down there, creating 2 turnovers, one interception for a touchdown, another one flipped the field, giving the ball down here around the 34-yard line.
Williams, 21 carries, 82 yards. He's really getting a lot of look. We've seen Reed Johnson, 1 carry tonight for 26 yards. That was a 4th down fake punt conversion, kept the offense on the field and may have flipped the game.
It may have. That kept the drive along because they kind of stalled there. They got a 14-0 lead. They went down there. They had the 4th and 1, failed on that down around the 20-yard line. So that has helped them bring the momentum back to the Ankeny Hawks here right before half.
Waukee Northwest has made their way out of the storage shed on the northeast part of the Ankeny Stadium here. Corey Capatich is making his way to Dallin Christensen. We'll go to Dallin in just a moment. 21-0 is our halftime score. Let me get you a quick out-of-town score update. Polk leads Centennial 14-3 at the break. 28-3 Dowling over Valley. Here it's 21-0. Let's go down to Dallin Christensen.
Coach, Ankeny doing a pretty good job bottling up your run in the first half. What adjustments do you make in the second half?
Well, really, we just can't turn the ball over and have to make plays and take care of the ball. I mean, we obviously had a couple turnovers and some special teams things that we didn't like. So, they're a really good team. If you do stuff like that, you're going to find yourself in a 21 hole like we are.
Defense has actually played pretty well considering they've had a couple of short fields. What do you have to do to put more pressure on Ankeny in the second half?
Yeah, I think our defense has played well enough. We have to give our defense a better chance and not give them great field position and put our defense in a hole like that.
Best of luck second half. Thanks, Coach. Paul, Tim, back to you in the booth.
Corey Capatich with our Dallin Christensen. Thank you so much. What'd you hear?
You said the obvious. The defense is playing well, but the offense has to get some points. Turnovers in this game with a good team like Ankeny, you can't turn the ball over and get this far behind because then you're playing catch up and you're playing right into the teeth of that Ankeny defense.
Waukee leads Urbandale 17-0. Johnston leads Kennedy 21-7. We'll take a quick 1-minute break. We got to clear some traffic from the halftime and the kickoff to the second half in a moment.
Off to college. Oh, rats!
Hi, Joe the car guy with a reminder. Before you send your kids off to school, set up an appointment with Westside Auto. We check everything from tires to belts, fluids, hoses, wipers, and lights. 44 inspection points to help prevent that oh rats moment for your students. Call us today to set up your appointment. We'll have your kids off to school saying,
For the best, head west.
Westside Auto.
Ever have one of those awkward moments when a business disappointed you? You got ripped off? Didn't get what you expected? The Better Business Bureau can help you avoid these uncomfortable situations. BBB accredited businesses are honest, ethical, and reviewed annually by the BBB. Don't experience another awkward moment with a bad business. Trust the ones that operate with integrity. Look for the BBB seal. It's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
Half number 2 getting ready to start, Ankeny and Waukee Northwest. As we look around some of the other scores, I kind of quickly got in that Dowling Valley score, 28-3 Maroons. I believe our friend Andy Pollock was quoted in a story that said no team had won 3 in a row in the last, dozen years, 24 years in that series. That's probably going to change here tonight. Maroons just seem to be the team to beat as the season wears on.
They're solid in all elements of the game. They got a solid quarterback, running game. The defense plays well. They got a lot of good athletes. And then we saw them here a few weeks ago. They're a tough out. You have to play your A game to beat them. And right now, they're 6-1, and they're proving it that they're the number 1 ranked team based on the RPI.
In Southeast Polk, they've really done nothing but just lose once, same as Dowling, who lost early in the season. Polk had an injury to Abu Sama, which was detrimental in their game against Ankeny. I don't know in any of these games where these teams play again, Polk and Dowling. Polk won that first one. Dowling and Ankeny, or Southeast Polk and Ankeny. Any of that combination, it's really now seems to be a race for who's the 4th best team. You could argue in just Central Iowa or in the state, and you could maybe make a case that the 4th best team is in Central Iowa. Although PV, Pleasant Valley, and Davenport West and others would like to disagree with me.
Yeah, we'll see how it shakes out, next week after week 8, but it's really the RPI when you get out on week 9. The other game I was looking at is interesting is Waukee and Urbandale. Urbandale comes in at number 13 in the RPI and Waukee at 19, just outside the margin. Waukee is leading them 17-0, moving up. That could shake some things up at the bottom end to see who makes the playoff qualifier.
Wolves will get the ball to start the second half. Warner to tee it up at the 40, and we're getting ready for half number 2 from Ankeny Stadium on this, what has become a little chillier night as we dip below 40 degrees, and it feels like 38, temperature at 44. Return taken back. Good return there for Northwest. And that was Ayers Pearson. And the tackle for Ankeny made by Angelo. We're now on special teams. Wolves going to have to try to get some offense going early. Let's see what they do. They go on the ground with Grisham on the first play, and they get positive yards. And I expect if this gets any more than 21 points down, Tim, it's going to be hard for Northwest to continually run the football.
Yeah, this is a critical drive. They're want to get Grisham back in the game. Running the ball after only 11 carries in the first half. But how you come out of the locker room at halftime dictates a lot of the second half.
Grisham back there with Johnson in motion is one man, and Grisham is wrapped around the ankles by Reed Johnson.
Reed's having quite a game in there, but we've seen Reed Johnson in there and also Nolan Morris, coming in, creating different, chaos, like getting in there and blitzing from their positions, getting in the line of scrimmage, creating some, they're getting past blocks or they're not being picked up, and causing these, for no gain. So they're playing a real heads-up game on this defensive scheme that they've created on this unconventional defense, as it's been called.
Everybody's word is different, isn't it?
Yep.
Two guys down on that unconventional. One of them is Donnie Brown Straight, and he's giving pressure to Johnson. And Donnie Brown Straight can't. Oh, he does. He does get Johnson down by just a scrape of the knee. Coming in were Carson Booth and Will Henricks just to make sure. But I had my field glasses on Donnie Brown Straight on that play, and he came pretty much untouched.
He had a great move in the outside, kind of like a little swim move, but he just kind of blew past the tackle there, got in the backfield. So he's been playing a lot lately. He's really bringing his game up, as a 6'4", 200-pound senior, so he's done a good job here as of late.
Will Retz is the guy who got beat, who's playing a lot for Isaiah Mood, who was injured last week. Patton picks it up on a bounce at the 40, turns back field, and he goes backwards 3 yards. Great special teams play by Northwest. Coming back there to make sure Patton doesn't go any further is Jackson Adams, and Cooper Scheifus, I think, were there as well.
Scheifus, that's a great, they can always say, I tackled Patton in the open field. Very few people would take that on the bounce. But Patton, with his hands and his athletic ability, took a chance. So now we'll see what the Ankeny offense comes up. Coach talked about that they didn't think they were blocking very well in the first half. So let's see if they come out and try to establish that ground game again.
Maddox Ward comes out to the hash mark, gets on the line of scrimmage. Patton to the left side on the mirror image. They go Williams underneath, right into the line of scrimmage, and he just sticks his nose in the back of the line and gets maybe a yard. Also in tonight for Ankeny, they're at that blocking position. Oh my gosh, my eyes, Tim. I cannot read. Mason Randolph has been in a lot, number 85. They're blocking in place of Carson Sommerfeld.
He's done a nice job of blocking down and creating some seams there for the running back.
Cole to throw with time. Across the middle, caught by Evan Erlmeyer at midfield. Into Wolves territory, down to the 40. Asked about Evan Erlmeyer this week with Coach Nelson. I said, hey, did you know Evan Erlmeyer was going to be this much of a spark plug? He says, hey, if Devin Akers doesn't get hurt, we have no idea what kind of talent we have. Erlmeyer on this play, Tim, just runs the route across the middle. He made one guy miss and almost 3 others before he's tackled.
It takes a brave receiver to cut across the middle like that, but he got behind the linebackers. There's a big open seam in there. He took it, nice catch and run.
Carter Blakely, the tackle. Back underneath is, and I think that's going to be the other running. Oh, that is Williams. Still think we're going to see some Caden Henkus before the night is through. Last week's stats are a little misleading in a 72-0 game. A lot of guys had a lot of time and opportunity, and that's one of those things that a team needs every once in a while to kind of rest and figure out what you have for the postseason. Hawks break the huddle at 8.5 to play. Williams gets low after the initial contact, but doesn't get much further than the 38, so gain of 2.
Erlmeyer back in there. And what you're finding with like players like Erlmeyer in there, some of the players, this is a sophomore coming in, getting some valuable experience, real game time experience. So that just helps build the squad for next year. When you get your juniors and sophomores in there, it's a real playing time.
3rd down situation here for the Hawks. Cole to pass with time. Clock runs out, steps in front. He's going to run. I think he's going to get it. Makes a move on one Wolf. Before Logan Stotts, he's the one who stopped J.J. Cole's forward movement at the 25, and then a couple of other guys came in named Owen Klunder to finish.
Good pass coverage, by the Northwest Waukee defense. There's nothing open. It's that the windows are tight. So, but we've seen Cole a couple weeks ago take off and run. It's not how many times he runs, but when he does, it's very effective right there. He picked up a first down, keep the drive going. So that's a great heads-up play with the quarterback.
Gain of 13 on the play. Williams, the handoff, off left guard. Kind of a struggle to get much more than the line of scrimmage. The scrum there gets off the back of the legs of Lucas Beroth.
It's tough running inside there. That interior line did a very good job. The Tim Thompson's in there. I see Winters in there as well. Then the middle linebacker, Gardner, really plug it up.
2nd and 9. 2 receivers left, one to the right. Toss sweep. Williams, he's in space, and then stood up at about the 20. Eli Moses, Chase Lamb, and Cale Winter also in there. Number 9 is Hunter Smith.
Straight zone blocking. All the linemen just shifted to the right. The zone blocking to the short side of the field. We're also seeing Jerry Kruger in there, the tight end. senior tight end, getting some blocks in there, creating more of a running lane in there. He's lined up again as the right tight end spot.
3 to the left, Williams to the right. Play action. Cole throws, caught by Erlmeyer. Line in there, quickly drops Erlmeyer after a gain up to about the 16. And we're going to go 4th and a yard at most to go.
Now, they tried running it last time with Williams, up the middle. I wonder if they'll do a running game now or try something, They haven't rolled, Cole's not a rollout quarterback. He's really more of a pocket passer. So see if they want to create a heavy set here and try to run the ball.
Hawks break the formation. Williams, play action. Cole to Jamison Patton. He has the catch at the 11, which is good enough for a Hawk first down.
Then you roll out there, fake the run to Williams. Kind of a half, roll out there by J.J. Cole to his right. They're giving a lot of cushion there to Patton. Patton is a little turnaround and catch. Doesn't need a lot of yards there, so keep the chains moving. Now they're down to the 11-yard line.
5:23 to go, third quarter. Now we see the first handoff of the game to the sophomore running back, Caden Henkes. And he just like a bolt of lightning goes right up the middle, gets inside the 5 to the 3.
6 foot, 170-pound sophomore. He's got a nice burst of speed. One thing, these running backs, they're not running east and west. They do take it up there. They follow their big linemen up there. So, take advantage of the hole they create. The linemen appreciate all that work they do. And it's great to see Henkes in there getting some carries.
2nd and 2 from the 3. Hawks can get a first down and not a touchdown. Henkes stood up right after he hopped over the line of scrimmage. And right there was Chase Lamb to prevent the touchdown.
Gained another yard, so it brings up a 3rd and a 1. They may give him the ball again, try to get something. When you get in this tight formation in a goal line, it's hard to pull and get your linemen outside because a lot of times the linebackers are shooting gaps, so you want to be a little more honest in your run blocking scheme.
I didn't even see JJ in the huddle there. I was like, oh, was this a Wildcat? No. Cole out there, goes under center. Quarterback sneak up the middle. He rolls and twists his body over the end zone and the goal line for a touchdown for J.J. Cole, the senior.
Nice score there. Nice blocking inside. I know we called his name before, but Ryan Mayer and then Carter's in there. The linemen have done a great job of moving that pile forward, getting a touchdown. Then Cole just using his height as well as he's a very strong running back. He's a very strong 6'7" quarterback, so gets a touchdown.
Kind of does the offset leg a la Tom Brady there.
Yep.
Did you notice that on the sneak, how he had his footwork? I know that's more how they're teaching that play now. Werner on to attempt the extra point. The hold out of Bailey. The kick is good. 28-0. Ankeny leads. 3:55 to play, third quarter.
When did strength become an ego thing? Strength is about more than you. It's about grit, work ethic, carrying your own weight, and still rising to new challenges, whether or not they happen during regular business hours. Because even for the strongest, there are no guarantees. But for those who wake up with the streetlights to make sure the world keeps moving, Western makes one promise: more jobs done faster.
Visit Truck Equipment Inc. today at truckequipmentinc.com.
For 75 years, Holt service trucks have hit the streets of central Iowa to help customers in need. It might be for plumbing, heating, cooling, a water heater, or the usual repairs and maintenance. We've done that with quality work from quality employees who bring passion and personality to the job. That's the Holt difference. It gives me great pride to see how our company has grown from the seeds of success my grandfather planted in 1947. That's why more and more central Iowans are saying, let Holt handle that.
Christensen back at Ankeny Stadium. Kickoff taken by Wyan Woodruff at the 20-yard line of the right sideline and gets across the 25-yard line. Ball might have come loose, but the officials blow the play dead, and that'll be 1st and 10 for Waukee Northwest. Abe Smith on special teams coverage making the tackle for Ankeny. And guys, on that last possession, I really felt like the Ankeny offensive linemen were finally starting to get to the second level. Kingston and Monseves both were able to get past the defensive linemen on several occasions with Hankus running and able to get into that linebacker area to get additional yardage. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Dallin Christensen, for that sideline report. First down throw near the near side. P.J. Westover just did an absolute slow walk there on Cooper Scheifus on defense. Incomplete.
Yeah, experience. That's the experience of a senior there playing the cornerback, is that he just kind of slows it down to where the receiver has to run through him. So it brings up, taking a shot deep there, so it brings up a 2nd and 10.
Wolves come out throwing on first down. They're down 28-0. Grisham gets the call right side. Penalty comes in right about the line of scrimmage. Going to take a wild guess. My context clues say holding. What do you think, Tim?
I think so. It's kind of, he threw it there where the linemen hang out.
Holding Wolves.
I was just going to say it's been a fairly penalty-free game. There hasn't been a lot of flags.
You know the minute you think it happens, right?
I know. It's. I didn't want to say it, but then there it is.
Holding offense, number 75. Taylor Capatich to the start of foul. Replay second down.
Malcolm Mutai. Sorry, bud. We have to say your name that way. Up front, Landon Kennan, Cale Winter, Aiden Barady. Also, we've seen Jevin Mueller and Trevor Zarkowski up front. A lot of guys playing both ways. Johnson fakes the pass, tucks it, runs it, gets into the secondary before Cale Halstead comes up and reaches him and takes him to the ground at about the 25-yard line.
Quick read by Sam Johnson. Look out there. He sets up, takes one look, and then takes off because that hole's open. And then, quick decision making by him. It picks up 10 yards.
Still third down, though, for Johnson. Gets the play set, then looks for the check to the right. Game clock under 3. Play clock approaching 10. Looks like a play caller, at least a deceit that they're going to change the play. Everybody knew the snap count, but the center on that.
Probably was a change of the play, but then also. Where the center's changing his call. The blocking assignment. Usually the blocking assignment starts with the center and they go out. That, too much going on, too much thinking, then the snap count gets off.
Well, what was 3rd and 10 is now 3rd and 15 from the 22-yard line. Here comes Northwest. Quick throw out to Scheifus. Makes the catch at the 25. Gets up a couple of yards before J-Mo and P.J. Westover combine for the stop.
They closed on him quite fast. I'm impressed by the speed of the Ankeny defensive backs coming up there, because he was open. He had a chance to move upfield and pick up 5 yards, but he closed in. And you want to see the gang tackling where people aren't standing around. So good, active Ankeny defense there, getting him in a 3 and out.
Angela Wernow also in there for the stop. Philpott on to punt again for the Wolves. Left footer gets it away. Bounces at the 45. Westover tries to do his J-Mo impersonation, pick it up and return it to Chase Lamb. And also Jackson Adams there. 28-0, 1:50 to play, third quarter. Ankeny only 56 yards passing, 135 rushing, 191 total yards, but they're up 28-0. A pick six changes things. And a return of almost 65 yards to start the game. That can kind of into your offensive stats a bit.
Yeah, they started on a high note. Got a quick 14-0 lead. And they've been good working it now, working the running game, not taking any big shots downfield, but using more ball control.
Cole to throw the football. Gets it across. Caught by Kruger at the 45. He's upended at the 40 by Grant Mackey.
Looks like Kruger was probably his second or third read there because he was looking to his left, came back. Kruger was wide open there and hit him. And then a nice job by Kruger turning it upfield, pick up another 5 yards, for the first down. So finding there's one better blocking up front because it seems like Cole has more time to set his feet and look downfield.
Gain of 18 for the tight end, Jeremiah Kruger, back underneath for the handoff. Come the Hawks. And Jason Williams gets inside the 40. Tim Thomason and Adam Gardner in there. Hawks not in a real hurry to run a lot of plays here tonight. 50 seconds on the clock before third quarter comes to a close, and the Hawks send a couple of receivers. Actually, they send 3 to the left. Williams cuts back, had a lane for a moment. Chase Lamb closed in a hurry. It'll be 3rd and long.
They have time. They could just let the quarter end. There's a difference of 5 seconds or 3 seconds on the clock there, so they are coming to decide that they may let this third quarter end facing a 3rd and 6.
3rd and 6.
Hawks make their way to the sideline to talk it over at the quarter break. Ankeny scores 7 points in that third quarter to go up 28-0. The final regular season quarter comes your way right after this on CISN.
When did strength become an ego thing? Strength is about more than you. It's about grit, work ethic, carrying your own weight, and still rising to new challenges, whether or not they happen during regular business hours. Because even for the strongest, there are no guarantees. But for those who wake up with the streetlights to make sure the world keeps moving, Western makes one promise: more jobs done faster.
Visit Truck Equipment Inc. today at truckequipmentinc.com.
For 75 years, Holt service trucks have hit the streets of central Iowa to help customers in need. It might be for plumbing, heating, cooling, a water heater, or the usual repairs and maintenance. We've done that with quality work from quality employees who bring passion and personality to the job. That's the Holt difference. It gives me great pride to see how our company has grown from the seeds of success my grandfather planted in 1947. That's why more and more central Iowans are saying, let Holt handle that.
Ankeny Hawks start the fourth quarter with a 28-0 lead, but they face 3rd and 6 from the 36-yard line of Northwest. Dart thrown to Erlmeyer, but he is stopped right at the point of the catch. Henry Leinen was there. Also, Adam Gardner. Man, we've seen a lot of Gardner tonight.
Yep. They gave him the forward progress. They got him up there to the 32 to 31-yard line there, so it brings up a 4th and 1. This is a little close too far for a field goal, but I don't know if they're going to punt. Looks like they're getting a call in from the sideline. They're going to keep the offense out there and go for it on a 4th and 1.
Erlmeyer had a run, or I don't know if it was Erlmeyer had a route earlier where he ran it at the first down. That one was just a little shy, but I think time was running out. Williams goes to the right side, and he fumbles the football. Comes out like a pop-top. Hot potato pops out, and Northwest, not only do they make the stop, but they gain 5 yards on the change of possession.
Looks like Gardner was in on that tackle, came in there, got it from behind line of scrimmage, and then if they stripped him, or was the second hit that came in causing the fumble. There wasn't much there.
Yeah, I think it was Gardner. 45 maybe got the arm in there. Dallin, I don't know if you saw it any differently than we did you?
I was through a bunch of guys, so it was pretty much blocked off.
All right, what else is going on that sideline right now?
28-0 game. It's always interesting. Rick Nelson is an offensive line coach at heart. He's got the entire Ankeny line staff that is not on the field right now on defense around him as they look at the technique, as they look at an iPad of previous plays. To watch these offensive linemen sit there and watch Coach Nelson as he's walking through plays, I'm not going to reveal any trade secrets, but it is pretty interesting.
2nd and 10. Grisham Gets into the secondary, still on his feet. Great run. Ball comes out at the end of the play. I've yet to see the officials rule that thing down.
Looks like they ran up and marking it down there. The side judge, he's at where his knee came down, but a big hit there. Or if you can see, he came up and put a big hit on him.
And it's going to stay with Northwest. After this play, I can't believe I'm actually going to get this story in after Dallin's report. Grisham gets the call, left side, and Brady Grisham again, huge play. Pickup of 11, but there is a penalty flag. Dallin was talking about the offensive line all huddled together around Rick Nelson. That offensive line thinks a lot of their head coach. In fact, the offensive line got together a couple of weeks ago, and they watched Coach Nelson's favorite movie. There's the penalty call that year. They watched the movie 12 Mighty Orphans. They said, well, we hear Coach talk about this movie all the time, so we thought we'd get together and watch it. They got together at Senator Ryan Mayer's house to watch this movie. A couple of the lines, if you watch the trailer, it stars Luke Wilson as a football coach in Texas that revolutionized the game. They talk about teamwork and discipline, believe in self, and believe in each other. Have you heard Coach Nelson say those things at all this year, Tim?
About every interview that you do in the weekly interview with Coach Nelson, I hear him say it. But it's very true. I think it's a great movie, so I'm going to have to put it on our bucket list to watch here.
You found where you could watch it on which streaming service? As Johnson goes to work on second down, throws downfield. He's got a man wide open. Caught! Oh, what a play for Northwest. Jackson Adams gets behind his man well into Hawk territory down to the 18-yard line. Biggest play of the game from scrimmage for the Wolves. Let's watch it again.
That happened last week where Sam Johnson was hitting Jackson Adams. He was getting behind there as the defensive backs come in. They're looking for Grisham, and they leave them on single coverage there deep.
Big play for Northwest, gain of 42. Jeff Martin's on it again with those stats. He actually pays attention to the game, Tim.
He did a good job.
1st and 10, Grisham gets the call. Diego Jackson corrals the running back for a loss of 2 on the play.
This is where that defense, if they want to keep, they turn around, they see that goose egg up there, and you get the fourth quarter. If you have that goose egg up there as a defense, you really take a lot of pride, and we want to keep that up there. So we'll see how the defense responds, because obviously I think Waukee's in 4-down territory.
Pride factor sets in. Play action. Here comes some heat from Reed Johnson, and he is going to get the quarterback all the way back at the 27 or the 23-yard line on that tackle. Johnson coming on like a bull released at sale time.
Reed Johnson, the senior on senior night, is really having a game. He's made some plays both offense and defense and on the punt team, so he's done a great job tonight.
It was supposed to be play action, but Johnson never had a chance. Loss on the play makes it 3rd and 19. Johnson, after the fake, is stood up. I believe the first one there was Andrew Haase. And now the Wolves, after that big play, have gone backwards all the way to the 27-yard line. 4th. Scoreboard says 19. That's more like 23.
Correct.
Johnson to throw. Heat again, Haase. Oh, my. Getting the chance to play in place of Cade Benetham. Andrew Haase, back-to-back big plays for the Hawks.
Nice job of him. He's playing defense. We just talked about now it's time for the defense to step up, turn around. They got that goose egg, saving it, knocking it back about 30 yards in 4 plays.
I wonder if Nick Nelson said anything to that defense, or they just looked over his way and he just kind of had a...
Sometimes the look pretty much sums it up.
Nick Nelson's look is one thing. Booth's the one. Adam Booth's the look. He's the look of, I know I've messed up.
Yep.
Nelson might give me a couple of words that will motivate me that way. 3 receivers to the left, 8:03. Cole back to work. This time they go with the sophomore Hankus on the carry. Clock under 8 minutes now, as only the faithful are staying behind here tonight as the temperature dips near that 40 degree. It's playoff football weather, Tim.
It is. This is why we haven't seen any snow flying. Today I wondered, it was drizzling a little bit, could we get a flurry? We still have another week of 5A football to go. I know a lot of the 2A, 1A, and 8-man start playoffs next week, so it's that time of year.
28-0 here, 7.5 to play. Cole to throw down the right sideline. He has Erlmeyer, who just went down on one hip to catch that football, enough to move the chains for the Hawks. We will not have the game next week here from Ankeny Stadium with Centennial and East. So there will be other games with playoff implications that the crew is going to cover, and we hope to be back here for playoff games from Ankeny Stadium. Right now, as it stands, the Hawks would host a playoff game if all chalk holds. Williams to the outside. Penalty flag comes down.
It came in late, so I don't know if it's a holding or if they may have got something, it could be a defensive holding, but sometimes it's, the flag came late out of the backfield, so.
All right, we're to that point in the game where we're going to have to start thinking about post-game interviews, Tim. You can start formulating. Dallin is formulating. I had not, so it's a good thing you two are on top of things.
I have one name I'm thinking of now, but I'll hold on to it till we get a little closer to the end here.
3 receivers come to the near side, one of them being Jamison Patton. Handoff Williams. No, that's Hankus. And Hankus escapes a tackle and has room. Now he's the 40, 35-yard line, is pushed out of bounds at about the 37. And Hankus gets all of that penalty yardage and then some. It was 1st and 19. I think he picked up 23.
Nice carry there to the outside. Didn't go down easy, kept his feet under him, made a couple of moves, but then takes it upfield at a decisive moment, picking up as many yards as he can. So it gets him into another first down, keeps his drive alive with 6 minutes, something to go.
And as you were talking, Tim, you know who was making a block downfield on that play? Jamison Patton, downfield blocks. Hankus is the safety valve, caught at the line of scrimmage, and he gets maybe a yard more.
Very nice open field tackle by Harry Linen there. This defense has been on the field a lot for Northwest Waukee, and some of these guys are playing two ways, and they've done a very good job, really, against a very talented team with all the weapons that Ankeny Hawks present to you out there. So, done a good job. Nothing really deep, keeping J.J. Cole in control, making him hit the relief valves instead of finding many people open downfield.
Clock now under 6 minutes to play. Hankus spins out, somehow grinds a couple of yards before Stotts finished off that tackle, which was started by Owen Klunder. Next week, Northwest will play Urbandale at home. Urbandale, at last check, was trailing Waukee. Ankeny will be at Des Moines Lincoln. Lincoln 1-6 on the season. 32nd ranked team in the RPI. They only have 36 teams. It's been a tough year for Lincoln and Des Moines East. 3 receivers left, 1 to the right. Hankus hit at the line of scrimmage, bounces off of it somehow, and maybe thinks maybe I should have just gone down. As Harry Linen again and Adam Gardner combine.
Tim Thompson in there, that defensive tackle, I think stopped, created that wall there. Weren't going to let him get in. Hankus tried to find something else out there, bounce outside. Linen comes in, cleans it up. Good open field tackle. So now what's your 4th and 6 play on their 34-yard line?
We've seen pooch punts. Do we still have that play in the playbook?
The short out has been successful if they can get, make sure they go the 6 yards needed.
Erlmeyer is there. They go back to him. He runs it and catches it at the 20 and picks up the first down. Evan Erlmeyer, going to call him. I'll tell you what, he has made one great play after another this season.
He likes to live between the hashes, doesn't he? He kind of owns that part of the field. He's like the center fielder. He's the cleanup guy.
He's lined up here in the replay on the hash. He's guarded by Leinen. What a mismatch there in the terms of height and size. I mean, Leinen, big dude, 6'1", 200. Erlmeyer is not that tall, maybe 170. Not sure they list him at 5'10", 145. Yeah, that's a lot more like it. 3 receivers to the right. Hankes on the counterplay left, and he just churns his feet, keeps the ball inbounds.
Chase Lamb there on the tackle, doing a good job on the inside there.
Andrew
Lamb, Gardner.
Eastman. Yep, Eastman there as well.
Yep.
So you think about the injury to Akers. I mean, Akers comes back, taller kid than, say, Erlmeyer is, but coaches have been high on Akers. He got hurt, that collarbone injury early on in the season. They hope to get him back for the playoffs, add yet another weapon to this team.
But the more that Erlmeyer can play, it just gives him another week of resting. And really, you need him in 2 weeks.
Cole to run it. Gets a block. Penalty flag comes out. 2 flags down at the 16 and 17-yard line. And Joe Kingston maybe is going to be the one called.
Yeah, he's like, I can't believe he called me for holding.
Holding. Offense for 74. 10-yard penalty for the start foul. Replay second down.
An offensive lineman never go, yep, that was me. Yeah, I take it. Yep, I'll take ownership of that. Nope.
All right, we are now under 3 minutes. We haven't had a timeout to discuss this, but offensively tonight, there's been an Ankeny player who has 29 carries for 91 yards. There's another one with 7 carries for 37 yards. A receiver with 6 catches and 20 yards, 5 catches and 51 yards. Cole to work here. Goes back to Hankes, who stopped. Great open field tackle by Eastman. Andrew Eastman, the sophomore. You have a guy who returned the opening kick, about 60 yards, made a couple of big plays on defense. Always the threat on offense. You got a guy who had a pick 6, took it back about 35 yards.
And a fake punt. And he's in some tackles. The one guy I would say Reed probably is on my short list of people because he's had impacted the game, defense, punting, scoring.
3 receivers to the right. Cole with time. Steps under the pressure, still on his feet. He is going to go down, somehow fumbles that football. Not really sure if he was trying to move it forward. Falling back on it, Kingston and Jack Derfler.
Now it's 4th down. That was, a lot of bodies flying around there. Of course, who was in there? Winter was in there. Eli Moses was in there. Keeping at the pursuit, not letting J.J. Cole find something downfield. He's looking deep in the end zone and wanting to fire something in there. So now you got your 4th down. I think they're looking for something big. If I was a defense, I'd be finding out where number 34 is lining up.
55 seconds. Play clock. Hawks will take with 2 seconds left. All right, Dallin Christensen, let's bring you into this discussion now as you've heard some of the nominees and potential game players. Who or what performance has stood out to you, Dallin?
It's absolutely been Reed Johnson for me tonight. The interception that was returned for a touchdown was a real game changer. It created some separation. and I've already texted you my vote, so I have it on record. I'm going to go Jamison Patton as well, because Patton had the kickoff return right at the start of the game. He had that interception early in the first half when Waukee Northwest was driving, and that snuffed out a drive. Not a lot offensively tonight. There have been some performances. Henkes has played well, but my votes are for Patton and Johnson.
You have your assignment, young man.
Thank you, sir.
We'll get that in the postgame. Hawks are going to line up to kick a 40-yard field goal from midpoint of the field. Werner, his long coming into this game has been 39 yards. Pretty much a straight-up kick out of the hold of Bailey. The snap, the hold is good. The kick is up. It's long enough, and it is good. 40-yard field goal. Keegan Warner.
And knowing that, with playoffs coming up in a couple weeks, can be a difference maker. Knowing that gives him confidence that you could, if you needed something, how far down you have to get there where he's got the leg to make it.
Before I look at Jeff's stats, how long do you think that drive was? I think I know how long it was that the Hawks just had.
Oh, that was, well, they knocked him backwards, so they started around the 35-yard line, 30-some yard line. So I would say with the kick, that was about a 70-yard, 68 yards.
10 plays, 44 yards, time of possession, 7:15.
Yep.
Williams has had, 7 rushes in that first drive. They went a lot to Jason early. Patton had the 61-yard kick return to set it up. Johnson, the 39-yard interception return. Patton had an interception. I forgot about Jamison's interception.
Yeah. Well, he set up a lot, with that interception, and also the kickoff return started the game. Had a huge impact.
Been a tough night for the Wolves as they look up at a 31-0 deficit here. Under a minute to play, trying to get a little bit of positive action, and they do. Great return, Aries Pearson. Aries gets up across the 30.
This sets up a huge game next week because, the rankings here, coming in, you've got Waukee on the outside. You've got Urbandale at 13. So this could have, even a loss tonight, but a win next week might keep them in it.
Johnson throws, caught by Scheifus on the screen. And he'll get up near the 40. Clock moving now, approaching 30 seconds left. Both teams primarily some of their key players on the sidelines right now, but a couple of starters back out there for both. Little hurry up coming. Johnson to throw downside towards Jackson. He gets wide open. It's caught. It's going to be a score. Jackson Adams, touchdown, Waukee Northwest. Right before the clock strikes all zeros. Same play they ran earlier in the game, 61 yards for a Wolves score.
Yeah, Bailey tried to get in there. Just got over his fingertips. He went back there, misjudged the timing to tip that ball. But you're going to get single coverage there as a perfect throw and catch there from Johnson over to Chaffis.
Touchdown Wolves. And the extra point is up. And good. 31-7. So Northwest gets on the board with an impressive play there. 61-yard touchdown strike on a Jackson Adams 61-yard reception. And that's going to skew the stats just a tiny little bit, because if you start, I was just going to start looking at some of these stats. Passing, that puts Waukee Northwest into triple digits. They're now at 140, so that means they were somewhere in that 80 to 79 yard range, 43 yards rushing, 183. So a little more respectable. Otherwise, total offense is going to be about 120 for Northwest tonight.
Well, they ran into a buzzsaw. I think this is one of the better defensive efforts I've seen out of the Ankeny Hawks tonight. They've tackled well. They've covered the field well. Didn't really shut down Grisham after we saw him pile drive Centennial last weekend. He just never really got much going here outside of a few carries here in the second half.
Aiden Gefuse gets the kick, a short one. Maddox Ward's going to run down, pick it up, and just fall on it. He'll have a little protection help. And now the Hawks will just take a knee with 7 seconds. And it looks like it'll be most of the starting, at least the line. We have a penalty. Going to be on Ankeny here, I think.
Obviously a dead ball foul.
That's what's right contact. On the team number 1. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
PJ Westover called for the unsportsmanlike there. I think the Ankeny bench is just kind of like, okay.
Yep. Take a knee. Let's get out of here. Is a solid win there. Kept injury free. They played a good game. You keep the momentum going as you enter into the second season coming up in a few weeks.
Victory formation for the Hawks. Cole takes the snap, and that will do it. Ankeny wins tonight. 31-7, impressive win. As the two teams will line up to shake hands, we'll do some final tallies. Try to get our post-game interviews here. As Dallin Christensen will join us here in the post-game show. Ankeny improves to 7-1, sets up their Week 9 game with Lincoln, where the Wolves will get ready to play Urbandale for a game that likely might determine one of the final playoff spots. The post-game show comes your way right after this. Hawks win 31-7 over Northwest.
Western lets your UTV power through the storm. The Impact V Plow and Impact Straight Blade, with the features the pros demand, custom tailored for your UTV. And to keep your work top-notch, rely on the Tornado UTV Hopper Spreader. Now that's a job well done. Western, more jobs done faster.
Visit Truck Equipment Inc. today at truckequipmentinc.com.
I'm off to college. Oh, rats!
Hi, Joe the Car Guy with a reminder. Before you send your kids off to school, set up an appointment with Westside Auto. We check everything from tires to belts, fluids, hoses, wipers, and lights. 44 inspection points to help prevent that oh rats moment for your students.
Call us today to set up your appointment. We'll have your kids off to school saying,
For the best, head west.
Westside Auto.
We all love a good win, however small or ordinary. Losing track of time, finding yourself with a few extra dollars in your pocket, soaking up the perfect Iowa day. These are the everyday delights and small victories that make us smile. These are the moments that connect us all as Iowans. And these are the moments that, more often than not, start with Iowa's farm families and the corn they're growing. Because when corn grows Iowa, Iowans win.
Ever have one of those awkward moments when a business disappointed you? You got ripped off? Didn't get what you expected? The Better Business Bureau can help you avoid these uncomfortable situations. BBB accredited businesses are honest, ethical, and reviewed annually by the BBB. Don't experience another awkward moment with a bad business. Trust the ones that operate with integrity. Look for the BBB seal. It's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
Hi, this is Chris from Fireplace Superstore, and you've probably noticed there's shortages on most everything in the market today. Well, Heat and Glow has helped us out this year, and they are focusing their energy on their gas fireplace inserts. So if you've got a drafty old wood-burning fireplace and you want to get it retrofitted into a beautiful, high-efficient gas fireplace, come see us. We will have product to sell you.
Heat and Glow gas fireplace insert from Fireplace Superstore. 109th and Douglas in Urbandale, just west of Homemaker.
Hawks win 31-7 over the Wolves of Waukee Northwest. Our post-game show, Coach Rick Nelson talking to his squad there. You can see on the right hand of your screen as we get ready for a couple of post-game interviews. Let's take a look at the stats for Northwest tonight, which fall to 4-4. 140 yards passing for Northwest. They were 7 of 16 for 140. Rushing, 26 attempts for only 43 yards. That's has to be the lowest performance by Grisham this season. 16 carries, 55 yards. He really was bottled up tonight.
Yeah, they did a good job, whether it was Johnson coming in there, Diego, the linebackers. I think they did a really good job of containing him, knowing that he carried the ball so much last week. So by doing that, the defense would get him 3 and out and get the ball back. They didn't control the clock like they did a week ago.
And it was when you just can't run the ball and you can't stay ahead of the chains. We talked about it in the opening 2 possessions. It was just really, really hard to do. 9 carries for Johnson tonight, -12. A couple of sacks really kind of hurt that. But the Hawks tonight, they had a couple of big plays on special teams and big plays on defense. Dallin Christensen is with one of those guys who had a big moment earlier. Dallin?
So I'm with Reed Johnson, who had an interception for a touchdown and then had a big momentum-changing fake punt for 26 yards in the second quarter that led to another Ankeny score. First, walk me through the fake punt. First of all, was that one designed or did you see an opening?
Well, it was designed, but we've been working on it for the past couple weeks. We haven't had to use it, though, and it was a perfect time, so it worked out well for us.
What did you see when you started rolling to your right and you saw the open space?
Saw the open space, and I knew I had an opportunity, and
It's all right.
Looked good, so I ran it.
The pick 6 for the touchdown, obviously a big defensive stop right after you get the touchdown to open up the game. When you saw Waukee Northwest on tape, what did you see that you could take advantage of defensively?
Well, we knew they were a run-heavy team, so if they were going to pass it, we knew we had to do our jobs and get our turnovers. So,
got another one next week and then to the playoffs. Thanks for the time. Best of luck tonight. I've got Jamison Patton now. Opening kickoff of the game. You guys get the ball. You're on the left sideline. Walk me through that opening return. What did you see as you started heading up that sideline?
Yeah, all credit goes to the guys blocking. Got a big old hole for me. I hit the hole hard and got some yards.
When you have a short field like that to start the game, what kind of momentum does that bring to your team, both offensively and then when your defense came out after the first score?
It gives a whole bunch of momentum. Offense got the whole playbook to work with, short yardage in the red zone, and then the momentum just going. Defense carried it on, got the run game stop from the Northwest, and just kept it going.
In the first half, you guys did a fantastic job against Waukee Northwest defensively. You had an interception on a 4th down. You really closed hard on that ball after Johnson started rolling right. Talk me through what you were seeing as he started to roll right and you made your break.
Yeah, a lot of film goes to that, knowing what he's doing, what he's looking for, and trying to play with his eyes. I baited him, thought I was going to break on the outside guy, but broke in, got the interception.
You got one more regular season game next week, and then you start going into the playoffs. Obviously a pretty good mood on the team. What are you guys thinking about as you head into the weekend and then starting to prepare for next week?
For sure, just staying consistent. Making sure our guards are healthy and just keeping consistency in the offense and defense and getting the wins.
Best of luck next week. Thanks for the time, Jamison.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, Jamison Patton and Reed Johnson, 2 big factors in Ankeny's 31-7 win over Waukee Northwest. I'll pass things back to Paul and Tim up in the booth. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Dallin. Great job as always tonight. Appreciate your work here. Tonight, J.J. Cole, 15 of 17 passing for 111 yards. Really didn't need him to throw. It was rushing tonight. Williams, 29 carries, 91 yards. Hankus, 8 touches, 39 yards. For the night, 46 offensive rushing plays to add to 17 passing. So the Hawks made it over that number that they couldn't quite seem to run with a lot of offensive plays tonight.
Yeah, they controlled the time, the clock, too. That running, by Williams, what that does, as you mentioned there, we're in the 4th quarter, they took 7 minutes off the clock, so it's a good drive. That's what that ball control does. They didn't have to rely on a passing game. It seemed that they were covering it well, so good ball control. I think the coach should be happy. He said, I thought the offensive line did a good job blocking. I guess really it's a very physical, very active Northwest Waukee defensive line.
Erlmeyer, 5 catches for 51 yards. Patton, 6 catches, 20. Kruger 1 for 18, which was a big play. Williams 1 for 7. Hankus 1 for 1, and that's how it all finishes. Hawks next week go to Des Moines Lincoln on the south side. The Wolves go home to play Urbandale. Northwest, I think, is going to be in the playoffs, just strength and schedule alone at that 4-4. Say they would even lose 4-5, but at 5-4, if they would win, absolutely have earned it. They could end up playing a team like, I don't know, Ankeny again in the postseason, the way the seeds would work out.
Yeah, Waukee Northwest comes in at a 7, so they're kind of in that realm. We've lost that, but a win next week against Urbandale does put them in that running. They could be that tough seed to have to play. The other one is that, Urbandale is on the bubble that losing tonight right now is 30-0 versus Waukee, and they got to come in playing really a very stout Waukee Northwest team, so that should be a good game for them next week.
For all of us here at CISN, thank you for letting us be a part of your evening. Thank you for stats and cameras and switching and talking and just trying to make us all look good. Ankeny wins tonight 31-7. We're off next week, but we will be back in the playoffs here from Ankeny Stadium. Likely would be the Hawks in a home game. So long from Ankeny Stadium. Good night, everybody.